everybody. All right, it's been a long day. I hope y'all had a good day. Um, so y'all know we got some games coming up this weekend, right? Yesterday we talked about Colorado. We'll be back with Colorado tomorrow. Tonight I want to talk about um, the Cleveland Browns, and everybody knows Shedeur is not QB2. We know Flacco is QB1. But I want to talk about why that's perfectly fine, right? You've heard me say it before, right? And I did some looking into have things changed with the O line. Now we know Kevin Stefanski likes uh, a run heavy offense with the defense doing the majority of the hero work, the superhero work, which doesn't work for Shadeur, meaning they didn't tailor an offense to Shadeur. He's considered an afterthought or an emergency QB. Now, I don't think his feelings are hurt, right? I don't think he's bothered by not being Cleveland's priority. I think he's resigned himself to Cleveland is temporary. And it is, right? Whether it's this year and next year, whether he's going to be DTR and they put him in certain games and next year they demote him as a way just to cut him like they did DTR, or in next year's draft, he's draft capital. Now, we know Cleveland does not have to tank to get the first pick. We know they running around Barry and Haslam shopping, and people have thoughts about that. You know, people are like, well, surely y'all are window shopping and you're going to go visit some other schools too, right? Because what they're in effect doing is what they did to Shedeur. See, they did the same thing to Shedeur. We didn't see them as CU per se, but all of the meetings, all of the extensive pre-draft, that's exactly what they did with Shedeur. And then when they got to, I think, April 11th, they switched. So it's just nothing more than performative, right? We want somebody at this game, whether it's Arch Manning or whether it's Julian Sand. And again, I don't know his classification. So I did a listing of the top quarterbacks coming out of college. I just kind of want y'all to have an awareness of who's coming out of college. There's already been some surprises. So y'all know the top 5 were like Drew Allard, Nussmeier, Manning, and somebody else. So that has already changed. So I'm tracking it week by week, right until the draft, Lord willing, right until the draft, so y'all can see what's getting ready to happen. Now, people talked about Arch Manning and how he didn't do well. But people also realize that it doesn't matter. They don't care if he stink up the place. They're not going to let him go 5th round, which is where his talent probably lies right now. People say they'll upend the draft. You know, they'll just throw the whole league in the trash before they let him fall to the 5th round. And that just shows you the stark contrast between how Shadeur is treated as somebody that's undesirable, regardless of skill set. And it should point to you, because now it's making the rounds, the pictures of the 16 quarterbacks that are going to be starting. And the NFL decided to put out their own chart. And it's crazy to me because I've never seen them do this. They put out a list of all the starting quarterbacks. And I thought it was interesting because at a glance, I couldn't tell who was who because they made everybody look beige. I kid you not. They made everybody look almost beige. You have to get up close to see the more browner hue melanated QBs like Cam Ward, etc. So now that everybody's talking about the 16 of 32, they want to get in on it as if to say, we're not ashamed of it, but then they're going to put out a chart with all 32 starters. And I couldn't even, it's so beige, I couldn't even see Trevor Lawrence. I was like, this is hilarious. So they tried to ease the melanin, like to kind of make it look monotone. You can't make it look monotone. And they don't want you to realize, as soon as you look at it, they don't want you to realize that guess who's becoming a minority? See, when you look at something with darker hues and lighter hues, it jumps right out at you until you put some kind of filter on it. Well, it kind of evens everybody out. And even the people with the darker hues that we love, right? That we love, they don't even look like that. So the NFL on that BS, right? So Shadeur is not being shunned because of his dad. Shadeur is not held back in Cleveland because he did anything.
Shedeur is number 17. Just like Anthony Richardson's job was taken from him. Technically, he is 17 and Shedeur is 18, but in the draft, Shedeur was 17. And right now, going into the season, if any injuries occur in Cleveland or in Indianapolis, let's see them jump through hoops just like they did before to make sure Anthony Richardson doesn't get back to his starting spot and Shedeur doesn't get to QB1. That's why they went and got Bailey Zapp and put him on the practice squad. So I'm not concerned about Shedeur being QB3. Because if he is supposed to get to QB1 in Cleveland, and that's what's going to happen. But remember, he's underpaid, right? They don't dislike Shedeur because he's not talented. They just don't want Shedeur to become the majority of the starting. They don't want him to carry that torch. So after the whole competition thing, where only black QBs were being forced to compete with guys that are not better than them. Hence, Cam Ward won his competition, which he should have never been competing. Anthony Richardson, I don't know what kind of competition that was. They just took his job. You know, he had to get injured and they took his job and they won't give it back. And then Spencer Rattler won his job. Now, y'all saw Shedeur win twice and they refused to give it to him. So Shedeur Sanders and Anthony Richardson are in the same situation. They both rightfully earned QB1, but the NFL refuses to give it to them. And I already see that they coming for somebody else next year. And I'm going to go with Caleb Williams. Because why? Because they gave his backup $10 million. A D3 player, $10 million. Now, remember, Caleb just got drafted last year, right? So why on earth would you give the backup $10 million? Because you expect to move Caleb out the way. So let's get into some clips that I have curated for us to listen to about Cleveland and in particular, the difference between Arch Manning and Shedeur and what people really to us. It's not just us, right? And a lot of people said to me when I posted the video today, the premiere with the 17-32, they say, I was thinking that this is what was going on. I'm glad to know it's not just me. I'm like, no, it's not just you. I'm like, in fact, when you think about it, if you pay attention to the league overall, you're going to see it. It's blatant. It's blatant. So for the NFL to put out their own chart after everybody else put out theirs, is them trying to say, oh, we don't have a problem with it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, y'all have a problem with it. That's why Shedeur is being held back. They don't want 17-32. And I'm trying to figure out how the hell you gonna stop this next year? Because this is my little chart right here that I made today, right? So you got Josh Hoover from TCU, Garrett Nussmeier from LSU, Drew Allard from Penn State, Thomas Castellanos, if you notice, I got to start by his name, Florida State, Julian Sayon, Ohio. Again, I don't know his classification, and Lenore Sellers. Okay, so before the season started, it was Lenore Sellers and 4 other guys that were white. So it was 5 of them, and they had Lenore at number 5. Now, if you watch South Carolina game, they tried to get him. They tried to get him, and he tapped into his Shedeur Sanders and got the hell on. But while they were trying, all they thought they was going to have to stop is Lenore Sellers. They didn't see Thomas Castellanos coming. So now they got to figure out how to stop Thomas Castellanos and Lenore Sellers. Now, in the draft, they stopped Shedeur and Jalen Milroe. But see, they got Jalen Milroe in college. And I think they trying to get Lenore Sellers in college. That means Thomas Castellanos is the person that's going to be like Shedeur. The person that everybody think they're going to want to get him, and all of a sudden he just going to fall out the sky and fall to the second or the third round. So I think Lenore Sellers' dad maybe have learned that he should have took that money because his son is being booted down further and further. And it's not because of his performance. It's because they knew he was going to be a top 5. So if they came at him in the preseason, that means all season long, he going to be like Shedeur was. He going to be like Milroe was. They just going to be hating on him. And it started with, they keep referring to him as a running back. He's not a running back. He's a dual threat QB. And the NFL don't have a problem with a dual threat until the dual threat is black because of the athleticism. Right? So this is the list I made. So I'll be tracking it every week. This was after the week 1 games. And I would like to see somebody from Colorado on this list, Caden. We got a tough road ahead of us at Colorado, depending on how this game go with Delaware. And again, we'll talk about that tomorrow. So keep these names in mind. You're going to hear Nussmeyer whether you want to hear it or not. You're going to hear Allard whether you want to. Josh Hoover was a new name into the rankings. And Julian Sand. Josh and Julian are 2 people that popped up along with Castellanos and Lenore Sellers. If you notice, somebody not on this list. Who is missing from this list? Y'all know who missing from this list. He was in the top 5 when Lenoris was number 5. But after a game has been played, Arch Manning isn't even on here. He not in the top 6. Right? Yeah, I picked the top 6 on purpose, right? To let you see Lenoris was 5, and after the game, even though they won, they still bumped him down. So pay attention to what's happening. All right. So that's the chart that I made. I posted it on X. I posted it on IG and YouTube. So that way we can go up to the draft. Y'all can kind of see what's really going on. And what it's going to do, it's going to let y'all see what really happened to Shedeur. It's going to let you see what happened to Milroe. And it's going to confirm that it has nothing to do with Coach Prime, but it had everything to do with 17 to 32. Now that the charts are starting to go around, going into next draft, it shouldn't be a secret. There should be heavy conversation about who's going to be number 17 of 32. See, they didn't have that conversation in this draft. But we should be hearing Castellanos' name. You should be hearing Lenore Sellers' name, or somebody else going to pop up. But there's one name that's not on here. And we're going to see as time goes on if he magically creeps back into the top 6. And I'm talking about Manning. They have some easy games coming up. We get ready to go into the hard part of the schedule. They get ready to play Sam Houston State University. They get ready to play University of Texas at San Antonio. I'm like, I thought we were done with the easy games. Like, we got Delaware, but they got Sam Houston and UTSA. Maybe because they had Ohio State first. So now that they got the hard one out the way, they got 2 easy ones. That must be how it works. So stay tuned, people. Stay tuned. You getting ready to see coming up in this draft. And I'm probably not going to watch it. I'm sure I'll hear about it. You getting ready to see what really happened to Shedeur. All right. So that's where we are with that. So before we get into Shedeur and the O-line, the new rankings that came out last month, they still not good. I want to talk about some games that are going on this weekend that we'll be watching. I know I'll be watching. These are the Colorado Forever Buffs. And I just took the guys who are on the teams at the 53-man roster. I didn't worry about the guys who are on the practice squad because we don't know if we're going to see them or not. So we still got a lot of guys that are still playing. So we got Shedeur. We have who is first? The Panthers and the Jags. So basically you have Jimmy Horn Jr. versus Travis Hunter. And Travis, I don't know if y'all saw his Adidas commercial with Trevor Lawrence and this, that, and the other, right? So they pushing Travis, right? He's going to be playing on both sides of the ball. He'll be, as they say, majoring, and he'll start on wide receiver, and then he'll also play cornerback. And people are kind of want to see how this is going to work out. I have a list of his matchups. We'll probably talk about that tomorrow. I'm going to watch this game. This game, Panthers and Jags, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the daytime game I'm going to watch because I want to see how Travis does, right? I also want to see Jimmy and if he gets into the game. And then, of course, I want to see BJ Green because, you know, he tore it up and he did really well in the preseason. So that's the daytime game that I'm watching. So then there's the Cardinals and the Saints. All right, the competition of the Saints is over. I'll probably hear about that one. I'll probably check into how that one's going. Again, I don't feel a need to watch it no more because I just want to see if Spencer Rattler was going to be treated fairly. And they probably had to, right? Because then people would see, well, you trying to cheat Shedeur and Spencer Rattler and Anthony Richardson. So they went on ahead and let him start. And then the Bengals and the Browns. All right, so let's talk about it. I don't plan on watching this game, but let's talk about what could happen in this game. Let's talk about the expectations. I expect Shedeur to be QB3. Why am I okay with that? Because as of late August, the O-line is still projected to be number 28 out of 32 or worse, right? Most of their O-linemen are in that 30 years old, have injury, they're injury prone, in their last year of the contract. So you're not going to get 110% out of them. And then for the preseason, even though number 74, let his assignment go and Shadeur got sacked, they still gave him an 80 for PFF, which is sometimes why I side-eye PFF because they be missing stuff. But DeJuan Jones and Tevin Jenkins, those are two people to watch. DeJuan Jones on the O-line is the starter, and he plays where Jordan Seaton plays on Shadeur's blind side. But his PFF rating overall is trash, like 54 trash. And I don't know why they didn't replace him. So they didn't really take care of their O-line. They took care of the running back position, but they didn't take care of the O-line. And y'all know Boitano, he's coming back because why? He said because they're going to run the Kevin Stefanski type offense, which, to me, it is something he seemed to be interested in. I feel like because they don't have to do much. I mean, they don't really have to do much, right? So and all of these guys are 30. All of them are 30. So I feel like with Flacco starting, it'll be easy for us to see as Shedeur Sanders fans what this starting O-line does. Now, this is my thing. Are they going to, when Dillon plays, are they going to stay with the starters or are they planning to go to the 2s and the 3s? What do y'all think is going to happen? Honestly, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think they're going to do the same thing in the preseason? In other words, I don't put it past them. I don't put it past Cleveland to expect something to happen to Flacco because they already said it. They expect Flacco to sit down if he start turning over the ball. Now, remember, when Flacco was with them in 2023, he was 1-4. He only had played 5 games. And he had 13 touchdowns, but he had 8 interceptions. So they know he's turnover prone. They also know he can't play a full season. So the Mary Cabot lady said in an article that the Browns are prepared to bench Flacco and no hesitancy about starting Dillon. I'm like, okay, because good luck with that. And I was like, are they going to use their starting? Are they going to play against are they going to let Dillon play against the 1s? We've never seen it. We've never seen Dillon play with 1s or 2s or 3s. Yes, for Cleveland. But that's not the same thing as the Philadelphia Eagles 1s or 2s or 3s. He played with their 4s. So they set him up to play with the 4s, and they're already saying, yeah, we have no problem with benching Flacco. That tells you Flacco, just like Pickett, was a placeholder on the roster. That's what that tells you. That they don't have any real expectations for Flacco, just went through preseason and just took reps away, just like Pickett. When the competition really should have just been between Shedeur and Dillon, but they knew the more Shedeur had, the more he would do something with. So Cleveland is prepared to bench Flacco, which wouldn't be a surprise to me, and roll with Dillon. I don't know what the hell that's going to look like. That's why I said, are they going to let Dillon play against the 1s? He hadn't done it yet. And that's why I said sometimes you have to wonder who they setting up. Now, I know Shedeur, I still saw a little clip of him practicing, and he still was playing with people I still didn't see on the depth chart. So, I felt like he out there playing with the practice squad. That's what it was given. And it was just a short clip. I didn't even worry about sharing it because it was just short. But I was still looking at the clip from when he played in the preseason game against the Panthers because he got out of the pressure. So I'm not worried about Shedeur. Shedeur stays ready, right? And it don't matter if Shedeur plays with the 1, the 2s, the 3s, or the 4s. But I know one thing. Dillon going before Shedeur, gives me time to see if that O-line going to protect for him. Now, what the game plan is for Dillon, for sure, they just going to let him hand off the ball. Unless the Bengals just look weak, and then they'll let him start passing the ball. But it's not going to be, I mean, they might let him throw a deep ball, but if I know Kevin Stefanski, for what I've seen of him, turning Dillon into his pet, he's going to make it super easy for him. And that's just passing off the ball and a little play action here or there to the side, or 10 yards here, or maybe 20 yards. Nothing like we've seen from Shedeur at CU. So that's why I'm okay with it. The rankings for 2025 for the O-line is number 28 or lower. There's only 32 teams. DeJuan Jones on the left side, and Tevin Jenkins, who let his assignment go in the preseason, is are not people that's the new life. Tevin Jenkins is the new life. Then they have Cornelius Lucas, but he was injured. He can play on both sides. So they didn't really get a whole lot. So that means they have the starters that they had before. And they just got depth guys in Cornelius Lucas and Tevin Jenkins. So they just backups. Now, I could see when Shadeur get in there, I could see them putting 74 back in there. I could see that. I could see them putting in Cornelius Lucas back in there. But to be honest with you, DeJuan Jones is a starter. He ain't even good. They just leave him in there. And then the other guys are all either injured or 30 years old in the last year of their contract. And they just, they just out there. They just bodies. So not much happening with the O-line. So that's why I'm fine with Shedeur being QB3. I think it's God's protection for him. Not just that the O-line is bad, but it's the starters and the backups. It's like they don't have anybody to write home about at all. And I feel like PFF missed the mark when they gave Tevin and DeJuan an 80 in the preseason. Shedeur got sacked 5 times, so I know none of those guys were out there, so everybody else is gone. But in that Panthers game, number 74 was out there. And I don't know DeJuan Jones' number, but if it's 71, then or if that's Cornelius Lucas, then they not good either. Because I was watching some of their film. So that's why nothing has improved since the preseason, since rookie minicamp, with all of the trades, with all of the acquisitions on the O-line. Nothing has changed. And the O-line that they have, they feel like it's sufficient because I just need you to do run pass. That's it. I just need you. Once the ball is handed off from Dillon to the running backs, that's it. And they expect the heroes of the game to be on defense like the Myles Garrett and like that. That's it. So I don't know if you plan on watching the Browns. I ran into a little group of people on X, some black guys, they Browns fans, and they was showing pictures of themselves and the Brown stuff, and I was just shaking my head. I might have to tap into that little group and ask a question, but that's not the game I'm watching. So let me go back to our list, right? Shadeur is good. Leave him at QB3. I noticed they already prepared to bench Flacco, which means he was just a placeholder. So that means we could see Shedeur. That's what that means. It sounds like if Flacco mess up, they're going to roll with Dillon just handing off the ball and the little play actions. And then if he mess up, then we're going to see Shedeur. So I felt like they was trying to bait us in with the marketing. So I'm not watching that game. So the game that I'm watching at night is obviously the Ravens and the Bills for obvious reasons, right? That's where their season ended. So this is a rematch of that championship game. So I'll be watching that. And obviously LeJohntay is in that game. And I think he'll be playing too. So that's the game I'm probably going to be live for. And then in the day part, don't forget Zay Weaver versus the Saints. And then, Shedeur versus the Bengals. Now, a lot of people want to see Shedeur versus Joe Burrow. A lot of people want to see that. Cleveland don't want to do what people want to see. They just want to do what the hell they want to do. So if y'all tell me that he's in the game for more than a down or something, then I'll go to it. But I'm not watching that game. That's how I protest. That's my protest. I'm not watching that game because if they won't even name Shedeur QB2, I'm not wasting my time to see if Dillon failed first. I'm not going to waste my time on Dillon. I know Dillon is better than Shedeur. I was looking at Dillon's stats from college. Shedeur was better than him in college. And Shedeur won the contest and you still won't give it to him. So screw you. I'm not watching it. But I will be cheering on Travis Hunter and BJ Green. And who else? I think it's just those two because Cameron Simmer-Craig is on the practice squad, and Jimmy Horn Jr. So that's my day game. And then my evening game is the Bills. Now, I might be live for Panthers Jags. I might be live for that one. If I schedule it, I'm live. It just depends. It depends. That's a Sunday. So I might be live. It's a Sunday. So I might be live. So just turn your notifications on just to kind of, so you could kind of see if I'm gonna go live. But I think I am. It's not a Saturday. It's a Sunday. All right. So I think y'all, for the most part, you kind of saw this already. This was just the layout of the offense for the starters for Cleveland. So this is what, if Shedeur get in the game, I would expect him to be throwing to these people. Now, he's never thrown to them before, but I don't think that's an issue for Shedeur. I believe Stefanski thinks it will be an issue because Shedeur doesn't have chemistry with Jerry Jeudy and Tillman and Thrash and whoever else that is, and Njoku. But we know he know Njoku, right? It's the lineman I don't trust. I don't trust the left tackle, and I don't trust none of these people. Not one of them. The left tackle, the left guard, the center, the right guard. I don't trust the O-line at all. None of them. So that's just what it is. And then back here in the back, it looks like they would have Jerome Ford as their running back, a halfback. So, and they might switch that to a 2-back set and take somebody up here off or whatever. So I'm not watching that game, but if you watch it, feel free to send me the updates on the score or whatever, because I'm going to be cheering for the Forever Buffs, Travis Hunter and Jimmy Horn Jr. and BJ Green. All right, so my expectations for the game. If Shedeur play, I expect them to win. If Shedeur don't play, the Bengals don't have a good defense. I feel like Flacco could take the game by himself. I know Stefanski gonna make sure Dylan don't look bad, so he gonna have him protect the ball and just hand it off. I don't really care if he play, but if Shedeur play, I expect them to win. Just because I know the Bengals they didn't have a good defense. And like I said, I think Flacco could take it. But the fact that they're like, yeah, we're willing to bench Flacco. I'm like, because you knew you was going to bench Flacco. You know he's not going to be around the whole time. You just want Dylan to be QB1 and not Shedeur. But God, I'm telling you, I'm like, see, y'all playing. You're going to have to go get Bailey Zapp off the practice squad. And when you put him in and he not ready and he not good because his last team cut him too, then Shadeur's still going to get there. They're going to end up going through all of the quarterbacks they have and probably going to go get somebody else to make sure Shedeur going to get to the front, which means it will become painfully obvious of what they're doing to Shedeur. See, some people are still on that. Well, I mean, Dylan did have a better game and he did get sacked 5 times. Like they didn't see Stefanski set him up. And I said, you know what? Okay. I'm like, okay. Because you see what already happened right here, right? You see that, you see this is already different, right? What they thought is not what's happening. The same thing is going to happen in Cleveland. They're already saying they're going to bench Flacco and have no hesitancy with starting Dylan. Who you trying to convince? You sound crazy saying there's no hesitation to start Dylan. Why would you say that? Because we know there should be some hesitation. And we don't care if you put Dylan out there first because your O-line trash. Number 28 or 29 out of 32, bro, let them have it. Best of luck to Dylan. That's all I can say. Unless the opposing team is going to put in a second unit and their third unit and their fourth unit for Dylan. Now, I've never seen football played this way on a pro level. But I don't put anything past Stefanski to try to make Dylan look better than Shedeur. And understand that. That's coming from the owner. That's what the owner wants. That's why he ran out to basically tell the world, I don't want the quarterbacks I have. I'm like, Dylan, that's a message for you too. Unless you just happy being a backup to Drew Allard, or we know Nussmeier not going there. They said the only place that Manning is going, if he's not in the top 5, is the Saints. I'm like, he can go to the Giants too. And they could send Jackson Dart over there to Cleveland. See, Cleveland wants to do what it wants to do. And I bet you 10-1, Cleveland gonna get told what to do. You see how they pivoted away from Shedeur and thought they was done with him, and they got told what to do? The same thing is going to happen because the people that are emerging as the best are not the people that they projected. They're going to find a way to get Arch Manning in the top 5. And if he not in the top 5, he either going to the Saints or he going to the Browns. That's the only way he going to get to the Browns, is if everybody else is like, oh, nah, we don't want this. We don't want that. Cleveland's not going to have, they're not going to have a choice. They're not going to have a choice in the matter. And you let Castellanos or Lenore Sellers get to the 1. Let's see what Cleveland do with that pick. That's how they're going to pick Arch, even though he's not even in the top 5. And you know what? I'm fine if that's what you want to do, because that's how Kevin Stefanski going to get fired. I bet you $10 Kevin Stefanski don't want Arch Manning coming there. He didn't want Shedeur coming there because Shedeur was smart. He didn't want Shedeur coming there because he know he a trash coach and he knows Shedeur knows football. Well, guess what? I heard somebody else say it today. If y'all crazy, if you think the Mannings are not instrumental in what path Arch Manning is going to take, Cleveland going to get told what to do. If no other team can justify Arch or not in the Arch Manning sweepstakes, or the Saints got to go with somebody else or something, if he got to go somewhere, they're going to like, you got to go to Cleveland, because that's the kind of organization Cleveland is. It's a dumpster. But I will tell you this. He will go to New York and Jackson Dart will get sent over to Cleveland, because his family going to take care of him just like they took care of Dart. But when it comes to Arch and when it comes to Dart going to get the boot, or Tyler Shaw going to get the boot. So somewhere between New Orleans and the Giants is where he's going to end up, and somebody else going to have to move. And that's when Cleveland is going to get told, we need you to get so-and-so. They ain't going to have no choice because they ain't have none this time. That's why they ran out there trying to let the NFL world know we want to pick for ourselves. Yeah, okay. All right. It ain't going to happen because I don't think they have no respect. I already told y'all when Jerry Jones was talking about the Cleveland team, he didn't even mention the owner by name because he didn't have no respect. And that came from the book, I think chapter 2 of DeMaurice Smith Turf Wars. He just didn't have any respect for the Cleveland franchise or the owner of the franchise. So let me see what y'all are saying. What are your expectations for the game? Mine is that Shedeur sit down somewhere and let these other guys go so we can see how this O-line is going to work, because I need to see the O-line with 2 different quarterbacks, because then if Shedeur get out there and then they start tripping, then we could call it. But we don't have nothing to stand on other than they supposed to be trash right away. So let Flacco go, let Dillon go, and if Shedeur don't get in this game, fine, because the O-line needs to establish itself before he gets sit out there and end up like he did the Rams game. So let me see what y'all are saying. So there's opportunity for him to show up, but not right now. It said, I drive by early, hope all is well. Crow laced with collusion, premeditated racism. Yep, 17-32. That's what it is. Hey, Titus, how you doing? Anybody? Bueller. Hey, how you doing? Tina, how you doing? Gail, how you doing? It said, hey, Queen, what's up? It said, how's everybody doing this evening? Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. It said, welcome to the Shedeur Sanders Glory Hallelujah. Make sure you hit the like button. Yes, hit the like button. Hey, Sonia, how you doing? How you doing? Hey, Joyce, welcome back. Hey, Queen T, welcome back. Hey, Destiny, welcome back. Hey, Shonda, welcome back. Good evening, good evening, good evening. It's all intentional. Facts. It said, greetings to the chat and what she said sports, y'all. What's up? Hey, Isaiah, thank you. Have anyone noticed the black podcasters turning on Shedeur? I'll tell you what I noticed. I shared it with the members earlier today. Cam had some advice for Arch Manning. He didn't talk about how poorly he played. He didn't tear him down at all. Totally different when it came to Shedeur. And then there's this new podcast that y'all told me about with Skip and the guy that played basketball, Gilbert Arenas, called The Arena. It's decent, but there was this one guy on there. I'm like, bro, I don't know who sent you up here, but when he talked about the quarterbacks that were elite, he didn't even name Lamar Jackson or Jalen Milroe. I heard him say Jared Goff, Matt Stafford, and I was like, it's always one. That's how they get on these shows. I'm telling y'all, they be bucking. That's what they do. I hate to say it, but that's what they do. And a lot of people are like, I like these athlete shows, and they like Skip and they like Gilbert, right? But they didn't like the little guy. They kept calling him Burberry because he had on all of it, like all of it. And that told me a lot about him right there. People were like, get him off of here because he wasn't objective. It's like somebody sent him up there with some talking points and he just named all the right quarterbacks. I'm like, are you out of your mind? I think he named Pat Mahomes, Jared Goff, Matt Stafford, and Joe Burrow. I'm like, how the hell is it that Jalen Hurts just wins the Super Bowl and you don't consider him elite? So when I was, me, I'd be going through the comments and I just be looking, and people didn't like him because they felt like somebody sent him there to be the voice of opposition. And that's not really what he believes. He was saying he didn't think Shedeur was special. And Skip went against him and debated him. And so did Gilbert Arenas and everybody else was another guy. So 3-1, basically. And I was like, this man sit up here with all the Burberry he owns on TV, talking loud, taking forever to make his point. And everything you said with all of these black quarterbacks, and Jalen Hurts just winning the Super Bowl, and you name Pat Mahomes, Matt Stafford, Jared Goff, and Joe Burrow. And that's just what they do. That's just what it is. And, I was listening to Shannon Sharp. Shannon was going in on Kaden Salter. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I looked at the stats. I looked at the grades. Kaden Salter had the highest PFF grade for Colorado on offense. When I did my research all over the place, what I already said was the problem is exactly what Sports Illustrated said was the problem. The O-line. They couldn't protect Kaden on the right side. I said the right side. They said the O-line. In other words, the O-line is still a problem. The run defense is still a problem. The same problems we already had. The play calling. And run defense, honestly, that goes on who? That goes on the defensive coordinator. But Shannon decided to go in on Kaden Salter. I'm like, did you watch the game? I'm like, I can see if he didn't score no points. And they were like, well, he missed some passes. I'm like, everybody missed passes. I'm like, everybody missed passes. He wasn't warmed up or anything. I was listening to Cam talk about Arch Manning and talk about make sure when you get in the game that you get warmed up early. You get in your rhythm early. Kaden never had that opportunity. And he still made something happen with a passing touchdown and a running touchdown. I don't know how it is. He only get credit for the one. I thought he should get credit for the other one too, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm not surprised that Shannon went in on CU because he just does that. Cam, I'm not surprised, but for him, the way he trashed Shedeur, it's like he's scared to trash Manning. And I don't even know if Shannon would trash him like that. I really don't. I don't listen to him all that much no more. But I can't tell you if he would or if he did. But they have no hesitancy to go against their own. That's the sad part. These are black men. I mean, you would think that you would know the whole picture. But like the guy with the Burberry on, all he did was talk about the white quarterbacks. He just totally dissed somebody that looked like him. Shannon and Nightcap actually put out the pictures of the 16 quarterbacks. The second one, I think I posted one that somebody else put out. Then they put theirs out. Today, the NFL's putting out all 32. They didn't want to just highlight the black ones. So they put out the one with the 32 and put a filter on it. But that's what I noticed about a lot of these newcomers to the space. They bucking. That's all they doing. Cam was bucking when he was going in on Shadeur, and then he ends up on ESPN. right? Then he go over there with it, and Shannon Sharp, Stephen A didn't like it, and then they moved him out the way. Then they brought Shannon back, but then Shannon got in trouble, so they went back to Cam, and he was grateful, and he didn't trash Shedeur today. He actually said Arch Manning should look at what Shedeur has gone through to understand what expectations are like, or this, that, and the other. But nobody is shocked that there's a double standard. I think you're crazy if you're shocked that there's a double standard on how Shedeur is being treated and how Manning is being treated. I'm like, you don't know the NFL if you're shocked by that. In fact, that's what you should expect. That's what the NFL is. That's the whole 17-32. Like I said, my channel's small. So when somebody else put it out and said breaking news, I'm like, about time. And then Shannon and them want to put it out after somebody else put it out. They put their own version. And now the NFL want to put out the 32 because they don't want to highlight the 16, because then it'll be obvious. Nobody has made the connection as to that's why Anthony Richardson lost his job, or that's why Shedeur Sanders was trashed in the draft. So what we're getting ready to see is a repeat of the 2025 football season, with Shedeur being the number 1 pick, which means he should have been number 17. He should have definitely made it. This time, it's going to be Lenore Sellers or Thomas Castellanos or the guy from Washington if he eligible to come out. For the last few years since 2020, since 2020, I think since 2020, 2021, 3 black quarterbacks have come out in the first round. 3. They don't want that. So they thought it was going to be 1. I don't even know why they didn't take Castellanos into consideration unless he just got to Florida State. But it's 2. And I'm willing to bet you, if I go down the list, it's 3. And Kaden Salter, had we beat Georgia Tech, he would have been up there. Haynes King is number 10. So had we won, Kaden Salter would have moved from 15 to 10. That's why you can't trust Pat Schumer. Because the overall agenda is to make sure there's not 3 coming out in the top 5 or the top 10, because you know they first round picks like Cam and Shedeur and Milroe. That's what they're trying to prevent. Somebody gonna be number 17. And if 17 come in the draft, I think they're gonna take Caleb's job from him next, because they gave that back up $10 million. So see, we talk about things first here, but we're smaller. And other people see what we say and they take it and they run with it. Hey, I'm cool with that. As long as the message get where it gotta go. As long as the message get where it gotta go. And it got there. Now I'm waiting for people to make the connection and understand that's why Shedeur is being held back. That's the real reason the owners took him off the board. I have said it multiple times, but as you can see, they just not getting the 16-32. Wait till they realize he was 17-32. And it might take the next draft for them to see it, or for everybody in front of Shedeur, and including the guy on the practice squad, to go down. And they still don't want to put him in. Something's going to give. Something is going to give to get to 17 of 32, because they couldn't stop Spencer Rattler. See, you can't stop them all. You got to pick and choose which one you're going to let go. And Shedeur is the one that is holding back consistency. I think they'll give Anthony Richardson his job back first before they let Shedeur go, because the owners took Shedeur off the board and there's no justification for it. And I'm willing to bet in Discovery, there's conversation discussing why they took him off the board. So that's what I think there. All right, so let me share this other clip that people were talking about today. Maybe y'all heard about it or not. I think it came out a few days ago after Arch Manning's game. People were talking about the disparity and the double standard with Shedeur to Arch. And again, I don't know why anybody is surprised by this. All right, let me make sure y'all can see my screen. All right.
Arch Manning, Shedeur Sanders. Is it a double standard in the media by the way that they treat them?
Hell yeah. One black, one is white. Like, come on, man. Hey, I'm just going to get to it. Shedeur throw an interception, which he haven't, it'd have been his fault. When a Manning, no matter which Manning it is, throw an interception, it's the receiver's fault. If the media like you, if they mess with you, it's always going to be the other person's fault. It's not going to be your fault. So, yeah, it's going to be a double standard. Arch, is he tall? He got the physical ability? Yeah. But we got to keep it 100. You make Arch, Shedeur, and vice versa, I'm telling you, the talking points is going to be different. So, hell yeah, it's a difference. One is white, one is black. But at the end of the day, even if Arch lose 10 games this season, if he come out in the draft, he's still going to be in the first 2 draft picks.
Facts.
Bet.
Facts.
Bet.
Facts. And that's what he just said. These are 2 black men having a conversation, right? Look at all of these black men y'all are talking about sitting on these podcasts. They don't have the guts to say what he just said. They don't have the guts to say it. See, he had to go get somebody outside the podcast orbit because they don't have the guts. I can say it, but they don't have the guts. That's obvious, right? It is obvious. When I shared the 17-32, people was like, I knew that's what I was thinking it was. But they don't have the guts to say it. But what they do have the audacity to do as black men is tear Shedeur down and want to refer to him as a 5th round pick. Therefore, he can't choose. Therefore, he can stay at the back. The crazy part is Dylan Gabriel threw interception. Shedeur did not. Shedeur won the contest twice. Nobody in the podcast orbit is talking about why it is that Spencer Rattler won his contest and was allowed to go be the starter, but not Shedeur. They won't even talk about it. You think they don't know? If I know, they know. They closer to the situation than I am. They don't have the guts to tell the truth like this man just did. If I can say it, why can't you say it? You should have more credibility than me, but they can't say it. And I don't know if they don't want to believe it or because all of these guys I'm talking about play ball. I feel like maybe you don't want to believe it. Like I say, Cam is sometimes delusional when he talks about Shedeur and Bryce Young because the same thing that happened to Cam is also what happened to Bryce Young and also what happened to Shedeur. He was treated like trash by the Carolina Panthers. And they devalued him so much, they were like, you untradeable. So we just going to release you. And that's probably what they're going to want to do to Shedeur as well. But we're going to see what guys say about that. But Cam, out of anybody, should know that he should have empathy and extend grace to Shedeur. And what's happening to Shedeur is not about his dad. And it's not about the 5th round. Nobody wants to talk about how the hell a 1st round pick got to the 5th round. And the last people that talked about it had their show snatched off the air, the facility. They lied to us about Shedeur. Nobody else has picked it up and run with it, but maybe one other source that I forgot who it is by now. But none of the ones that could talk about it. Matter of fact, it was ESPN and Louis Riddick said that it was bias that's holding Shedeur back. When was the last time you heard somebody say that? They don't have the guts. That's all it is. They just don't have the guts. It's sad, but it's true. Let's finish listening to what he's saying.
Don't you cut him some slack, though, because he was going up against the Ohio State University in his first official game as the starter for the full season.
No, he great. So therefore, he should be great all the time. If they putting you on that pedestal, then perform on that pedestal no matter what, because you're great. You're a generational talent. I think that's what it says. So you're supposed to be able to rise above it. So hell no, I ain't giving him no breaks. None.
Let's keep it real. If you starting an NFL team tomorrow as the owner and you got the #1 draft pick, who you taking between Arch Manning and Shedeur Sanders if they both up for picks?
I'm taking Shedeur, baby.
Exactly. And you
Arch
know why?
Manning,
You know why he
Shedeur
would take Shedeur? He would take Shedeur because Shedeur is ready. He would take Shedeur because Shedeur is proven ready. Shedeur was proven ready out of college. They wanted to ignore it. He proven ready with the Panthers. They wanted to ignore it. Instead of admitting it, they sat down and concocted a plan to make sure he got sacked 5 times with the goon squad that they released the next day. And they took him out the game at the 2-minute drill so he don't run down there and score a touchdown. And they put Huntley in, who they had already determined they were going to cut. They are spending more time holding Shedeur back than they are game planning to win. So we're going to see what God do. If he don't play in this game, it's because that O-line is trash. And the game that he gets in is going to be one that they can't set him up with, but they going to try. And he going to overcome it. Could be Baltimore. Kevin Stefanski don't have any original thought. Rotating all of these quarterbacks, he already did it in 2023. He was like, oh, I was successful with Flacco. I'm like, you were successful with the 3 black quarterbacks that put together a 7-4 record and handed it over to him. That's what they would want Shedeur to do to Bailey Zapp. So Shedeur can stay dressed out at QB3. All they're going to try to do is humiliate him and set him up. And I don't think God going to let that happen. So it happened so he could see who these people really are and how evil the situation is that he's in. He's being shown the hearts of everybody. So when God opened that door, he don't even think about, I wish I could have stayed here. He going to be so ready to go. He going to fall to his knees and thank you, Jesus. That's what it's going to be like when it's time for him to move on. So prepare for the unexpected. Hey, Sharon, how you doing? How you doing? It said, yup, wide receiver and cornerback. It said BJ Green and Cam. Yep. It said, did you see the Saints got a 3rd QB? No, and I'm not surprised. Not surprised. Love some Jimmy Horn too. Yep. Hey, Val, how you doing? It said the Saints brought back Jake Horner. Oh, Lord, jeez. Yeah, I'm not surprised. All of these teams cleared out the 3 and 4 unless they didn't trust the 1. A lot of these teams blocked the 2 in case Shedeur got cut. That tell you they can't cut the man. Pickett was nothing but a block to make sure there was an overcrowded QB room. Flacco is nothing but a block for the same reason. It's interesting how, let Flacco start. Let Flacco start. And now all of a sudden, yeah, we ready to bench him. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, so all y'all did was make things more difficult than they needed to be to hold Shedeur back because you know he's that good. Let's see what God do because the unexpected gonna always happen. Just like this little chart I made right here. They not happy about this. They was like, we thought we had Lenore Sellis licked. And here come Thomas Castellanos. And to the people saying, I think he might be Italian. I'm like, the NFL goes by the 1-drop rule. They don't give a damn. So, yeah. Keep your eyes on this guy with the star by his name. See what they try to do to him. Now, Florida State got their act together. New OC and a new DC. And they got this guy right here. So while it's called the Feint, F-E-I-N-T. While the NFL was focused on working with college ranks to make sure that Lenore Sellers don't come out in the top 5, because you see right here, he in the 6, and they won their game. Yeah, they won that game. But you see he's still below because that's the plan. Now they got to figure out what to do with number 4. Keep your eye on him. Y'all don't be surprised if I'm watching South Carolina and Florida State games. Don't be surprised. I have a vested interest in this whole quarterback situation. So don't be surprised. I don't want y'all to feel like I'm flaking out on CU. Nope. We're gonna watch them too. But don't be surprised if you see me talking about quarterbacks. I said when I started this podcast, I don't follow teams. I have favorite players. Our players were still at CU. I was talking about the quarterbacks. Now I have players from CU and black quarterbacks. Hit the like button. Yes, hit the like button. Let's see how many people there are. 156. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. I don't know if y'all know, but if you pay attention to the page, you know, when you see the tabs like subscribe and like and all that stuff, there's one that says shop. So I have a little shop that opened up and I released my Shadourian collection. Remember I told y'all I was going to do something that says Shadourian. So I already released it. And for those of you that were around when we were playing hashtag game, culture tags, and we used to play one, which is hashtag RMMM, run me my money. So I put the RMMM on a hat. That's camouflage and it's orange. That's for Shedeur because we want Cleveland to run him his money. That was one of the games that we played. So I already have 2 items in various colorways and patterns. So when you click on shop or store, I think it might say shop or store or products, depending on where you are on the page. Take a look at what I have and, just take a look. If you like it, buy it. But if you just think it's cute, let me know as well. And then I just released some hoodies that are coming out. They're cute. They say Shedeur on the front and then have the 12 on the back. And they have like 5 or 6 different colorways. So they'll probably be on there, if not tonight, tomorrow. So I've been a busy little bee. So make sure y'all check out the Shedeur collection and let me know what y'all think of it. And I think, if you buy something, it comes relatively quick. So let me know if y'all have any questions. And it's all kinds of sizes up to from extra small up to 2XL. So it's something for everybody. All right. So let's see. I'm going through the comments. I'm just going through the comments. So don't be stingy with the like button, guys. Welcome. It's 175 of us. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Thank you so much. Let me go through the comments. That's what I want to do. Because y'all been hitting me up earlier today too. So I want to make sure we go through the comments. It said the other teams are using their first starters because those teams plan to win. Okay, Nicole. So Dillon gonna be out there against the starters. Now that's just crazy. Unless they had him practicing with the starters this week, and maybe they did. I didn't look at their footage. Shedeur Sanders will be starting by week 2. I can see it. It said Flacco is good for 4 games or sacks, whichever comes first. And they know it too. It's amazing to me how when Pickett was there, it was, Flacco, we want Flacco to start. We want Flacco to start. Now it's, no, we're going to bench him. And we have no hesitancy about putting Dillon out there. I said, okay, so that's different, right? I'm like, okay. I don't even know if they want to try to win this game. Do y'all think they want to win this game? It's the battle for Ohio. I would think they would want to try to win it. But we're going to see. We're going to see. It said they will keep the starters for Dillon. It said the Bears fans, trolls are saying Caleb is zesty. Oh, yeah, I don't want to use that term, but I think that's a known thing. It says Flacco is good for 4 games of sacks. Yup. The other teams are using their first, it says, because they want to win. Okay. And Lil Dollar General has changed his number to 8, which was Pickett's old number. Oh, Lord. Okay. Dillon going to end up with a concussion. I watched him at OU. Oh, Oklahoma. Okay. I'm an OU fan. Okay, LaFrance. Was he injured there? He was in school for 6 years, so he ought to be able to do something. Yeah, people are asking you, LaFrance, is he injury prone? I'll put the question on the screen. It said, I believe that's what they have the QB on the practice squad for, to run interference on Shedeur becoming QB1. Right. And that's why I don't want Shedeur getting, don't remember what I say when all of this started. Don't expect nothing. Don't want nothing. Forget about the Super Bowl. Don't even worry about winning. If you don't play, it's God's protection for you. Because Stefanski already showed you he going to set him up. And he already got them little goons to let him get sacked. And I believe these guys trying to get a contract are vulnerable the way Andrew Berry likes it, and Stefanski could take advantage of it. So they just going to say he held the ball too long. If I was him, I'd just hand the ball off. If they put me in, I wouldn't care. Don't try to be, don't even try. Just hand the ball off. It said, this is Cleveland. 12 is there for clicks and views. And I don't even know if people really still watching because I don't see too much. They are struggling with tickets. Oh, good. This is a trash organization. People have to accept Cleveland has 12 to silence him. They will be exposed. I agree. I totally agree with that. It said, clean that house and organize it. Right. And I need Haslam to be forced to sell. I think out of everything, I want Stefanski gone. I want Berry gone. And I want Haslam to be forced to sell before that new stadium is open. Facts. In Jesus' name, amen if you in agreement. Amen up the chat if you in agreement. It said nobody care about a journeyman. Right. They just got him to block. That's all it was. Is anyone watching the Browns? I'm not. Hope the Browns lose every game. Facts. I'm watching Baltimore. Me too. Only watching the Browns when Shedeur starts. Yeah. Now, if I hear he's in, then I'll watch it. But I'm watching Jags and Panthers, which is Jimmy Horn Jr., Travis, and BJ Green. And Cameron Silver Craig too, but he on the practice squad, so I don't know if he's going to get in there. If Shedeur not playing, I could care less. Facts. That's how I feel about it. Shedeur will start against the Titans, Cam Ward. Hell, they probably not going to let him start. These people not going to do nothing that would enrich him or be something that he would want to do. Like they'll put him in against Lamar because DTR failed, so they'll think he failed. They won't put him against Cam because that's what he wants. If they play at the Jaguars, they wouldn't let him play against Travis. They want him to be humiliated while everybody else move on. Like, I was looking at Travis commercial with Trevor Lawrence. I said, this is exactly what they don't want Shedeur with. They don't want Travis over there with the Jags lighting it up, and they don't want Shedeur lighting it up at Cleveland. That tells you they're willing to forego money. They were willing to forego it in the draft. They're willing to forego money just to hold him back. All they doing is exposing themselves because people watching. It said third string emergency QBs don't play good. It said, don't be surprised if Stefanski puts Zap in. I won't be. Is he dressing out? Shedeur has to dress out. I don't know if Zap is dressing out. If he's dressed out, then yeah, he will play. We'll see if he on the sidelines. Valerie says she not watching either. Yeah, me either. It said they want everyone to tune in for ratings, so I won't be watching. Right. I'm watching the Jags and I don't have time for Cleveland. I'm not wasting my precious Sunday on Cleveland. No. You want to disrespect Shedeur? You don't respect fans? Shadeur's fans? I'm not giving you my attention. It said, yep, we have to watch different games and just hear about Browns to show Cleveland means business. Right. And to me, that should be the protest, right? Don't watch that. I mean, I don't care what teams you like, but it's too many other games. How many games is it? Pick one of these. If you just got to have a football fix, because sports fans, right? Especially if you like, it don't matter what sport you like. You got to get your fix sometimes. I'm the night game. That's why it's circle for sure. The other ones at the top are optional. But Cleveland, it's just on here so y'all can know they play. But go watch the Cardinals and the Saints or the Panthers and the Jags or somebody else. But I'm not watching Cleveland because they want people to watch thinking we're going to see Shedeur because they talking about they going to bench Flacco. Well, it was funny how 2 weeks ago you had the whole season riding on him. But now that y'all been practicing with Dylan carrying the ball off in practice, you feel like you can get it done, then do it. But you're not going to act like Shedeur is an afterthought when he really is your season. You'd rather lose the season. You'd rather lose money than have a black starting QB. Screw you. You ain't going to have me as a black fan. I can promise that. You're not going to have me. If you don't respect Shedeur, you don't respect black fans. And that's what these black Cleveland fans need to understand. I didn't want to go in these people's comments and say, oh, y'all crazy. But, I just let it be. I just know who they are. At some point, I might be like, so have y'all considered just not going to the games or not watching it? Considering they don't respect Shedeur because he's black? I mean, y'all ought to know better than anybody. Y'all don't want a black starting franchise QB, especially first round generational money. You got to cheat the black QB somehow. Hey, Bridget, how you doing? It says LaFrance, Cowboys tomorrow. Oh, that's who you watching? Okay. What's tomorrow? Thursday? I might watch the Cowboys. Is it the Cowboys versus the Eagles or something like that? I might watch that. I just want to see what happens with the Cowboys. I think I gave up on Jerry Jones and Shedeur. But then again, I watched the documentary. Did y'all watch it yet? The one with the gambler and his Cowboys with Jerry Jones and Coach Prime and Michael Irvin. I find it very, very interesting that Jerry Jones is super close to Michael Irvin, but it's like he don't have 2 words for Coach Prime right now. I find that very, 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 very interesting. Interesting. Yep. So that means Michael Irvin knows something up, right? Because how are you, Michael Irvin, and he pulling you close, and he ain't talking to Prime? Come on now. That means Michael Irvin know what time it is. And I think Irvin just had to sit down on Shannon Sharp Club Shay, but I didn't watch it. Shannon be flip-flopping. So I don't really follow him like that no more. I think the Pivot is back with they football talk, but again, I didn't watch it yet. Hopefully they can be real. And I'm not talking about Ryan Clark. I'm talking about the rest of them. So hopefully they can have some real talk. People love to hear from the former athletes, but they not being genuine. They being disingenuous when it comes to Shedeur. And I don't have time for that. Flacco was backtracking in his interview today saying he really did he really did get any reps in training. I was like, I know you lying. He also said he was told that he was going to be QB1. Oh, he was told late. He lying. He was sharing a locker with Jerry Jeudy. Why would he be sharing a locker with Jerry Jeudy? Obvious reasons. The chemistry. See, they think Shedeur don't have that. They think he need it. The things that they are withholding from Shedeur, they think he need. Reps. Chemistry with the starters. He might need chemistry with the O-line, but I don't trust him no way. So, I'm just saying. Boy, Tano was talking greasy about Shedeur. Yeah, that's the one I don't trust. Ace, remember he was on the golf course. Don't trust him. That's the one. Don't trust that one. Because I think whatever he do, the rest gonna do. I think he the ringleader. I'm not watching the Browns until Shedeur hit the field. It say keep an eye on Kirk Cousins. There was talk about this summer that Stefanski wanted him. I don't doubt it. But are they gonna pay that money? Because his contract is heavy. Hell, they already got Deshaun. They don't even want Shedeur for $4 million. That tell you what their problem is. They don't want to make no money. They not spending no money. They still don't want it. They don't want to win. They don't have to win. They don't even have to lose. They don't care. They just don't want that man to get to QB1. And it ain't just Stefanski. It's the owners. But that's what they get for taking him off the board, because the more this goes on, the more it's going to become obvious, right? They already talking about firing Sarkisian at UT. I knew that was coming. I told y'all. I said they were mad at Sarkisian last year because he refused to put in Arch Manning over Quinn Ewers. And I think Arch Manning started a game against University of Louisiana Monroe. Right? So when I think he got an extension, but it was short. I felt like it was for a year or two. I said, they're going to try to get rid of him. Because in that game, they were asking, what's wrong with the OC play calling? What's wrong with the coaching? They trying to move Sarkisian out the way because Sarkisian want to win and they just want to see Arch Manning. The same notoriety and following Shedeur has. That's what they want for Arch Manning. This is where they learn Shedeur has a following because he's good. Nobody's going to follow Arch Manning if he's not good. They're going to go follow Drew Allard. They're going to go follow Nussmeier. Hell, they might follow Nussmeier over Arch Manning. Now, remember, when they start fighting each other, it gets a little different. It gets a little different. Cam said he feel like Arch Manning going to end up in New Orleans if he outside the top 5 because they're not going to drop him in the draft. Where is Nussmeier supposed to be going? New Orleans. Stay tuned. I told you, when they start fighting each other, it's comical. It's comical. The same thing happened in this draft with Quinn Ewers. He was supposed to be number 4. They drafted him dead last. And his family called collusion first. They were colluded against. They wanted the guys that had the connection to Archie Manning, Jackson Dart, and Tyler Shaw. That tells you Tyler Shaw going to be an afterthought in New Orleans when that next draft comes. And Nussmeier ain't going to be able to get his own son if Arch Manning needs somewhere to go. Somebody going to get booted. That's all I'm going to say it. Either Nussmeier going to have to go to Cleveland, and that's going to be a problem because his daddy been waiting on him to come to New Orleans, right? Then if Arch don't go to New Orleans because Nussmeier and they having a fit about it, and they're like, fine, he'll come up here to the Giants. That means Jackson Dart got to move. Right? Where he going to go? He going to go to Cleveland? Because nobody, none of them, nobody wants to go to Cleveland. Not one of them. Not one of them. None of them want to go to Cleveland. Not even for the money. They just want to, if I can get this $50 million somewhere else, I would rather go somewhere else. Because Baker Mayfield was white, right? Did it work out? No. You might not get discriminated against, but you're going to have to deal with Kevin Stefanski. And the only person that can move Kevin Stefanski out the way is Arch Manning. And if he go to Cleveland, it is to clear house because that's what's going to happen. Stay tuned. This is soap opera. Stay tuned. You already got all the players. Stay tuned. This going to be good because Arch Manning is not doing well. And he might do well against UTSA and Sam Houston, but it's on after that. It's on after that. So let me see what you're going to do then. Stay tuned. Because somebody going to be in their feelings. Flacco don't want to get hit or sacked, running scared. Already that interview was telling, yeah, he don't want to. He just want to get paid. It says Shedeur will be great with the Colts if they made that move. Not with Daniel Jones up there, because Shedeur going to get the QB1. Shedeur can only go somewhere where he not going to be QB1 unless that's what Jerry Jones say. Jerry Jones is the only one that can break that circle of collusion because he himself colluded against Shedeur, and he is the only owner that can tell anybody else what to do. Jerry Jones is long as last. I mean, the guys like Weeks or Barney's, Jerry Jones has lost it. I agree. Let Flacco and Dillon go first. Facts. It said people around him saying they wished it was a weekend at Barney's. What? I'm familiar with Cleveland O-line. Some of them are legit starters. Their O-line never been the problem. Management has always picked bad QBs. All right, exposing the truth. We go see. I saw their grades. It said you talk about LeBron, right? LeBron, way off. My bad. Oh, okay. I do not associate with 4 points as far as on the Crown 5 or nothing strictly. Bridget said that was Gerald McCoy, defensive tackle Pro Bowler. He's an idiot. Oh, you talking about the Burberry guy? He was loud and wrong. He was terrible. People were like, who is this? I think I was on there when Skip said, so you don't think Shedeur is special? And then that's when the guy sitting next to Skip on the left, not the Gilbert guy, but the other guy, was pointing out what makes Shedeur special. And same thing with Gilbert. I was like, okay, I don't think I'm gonna make this. They had good numbers though. Shout out to them. Hey Tuna, how you doing? Welcome back. Where you back? I've been trying to get this communicated. What are you saying, CP? Because it's not coming out. So just try it again. It said, Don said, so he has to step and fetch it. He was definitely paid for clicks. Yeah, I know what he was doing. He was just bucking. He was bucking because he want to be on the show long term. He auditioning because his seat is probably a revolving door and they could probably replace him with somebody else. So he was just trying to make like a really, and I'm not taking up for him. I'm telling you the foolishness going on in this man's head. Look at how he was dressed. The way he was dressed told you what kind of person he is. Nobody else was dressed like that up there. And all those other guys have money. Skip got money. Gilbert has money. I don't know who the other guy was, but he probably got money. I don't know who that dude was. No. And that was so obvious. He figured he would be the voice of dissent. And maybe ESPN will come calling. So he using that show to try to get to the next show. He's just loud. And it was people were like, it's taking him forever to make his point. I saw that interview was clickbait. Yep. It said, I always notice those sellout. That man is a joke. No one sent him there. There's just some ignorant tap dancing. Yep. Yep, 22. He was tap dancing. That's all. It said not one of them will say anything bad. Right. Careful what they say about Manning. Fact. And that's Cam. I said, okay, Cam, I like what you said about Arch Manning, but I noticed you didn't tear him down. You had all of this positive advice. You can learn from Shedeur. Don't let people try to dictate when you come out of school. Yada. I'm like, oh, okay. But you didn't have nothing to say about his performance. So you must think it's everybody else on the team. Oh, okay. All right. But when it came to Shedeur, people don't like Shedeur. How you know people like Arch Manning? How the hell you know people didn't like Shedeur? It was nothing like that. And he not going to do it. He not going to do it. None of them will. Not one of them will. Maybe somebody. But for the most part, the black, if I find somebody that said it like that guy that I shared, then I'll let you know. Hats off to him. Hats off to him. But not if they try to get somewhere. Now, if they already got their own and it's not in jeopardy, they'll do it. But not if they want sponsors, not if they want the connection. That's the problem. They all want something. You got to, when do you stop wanting? When you was in the league, you wanted the money. Now you out the league, you still can't speak your mind. They so trained like that. You know, oh, I better not say this. Oh, okay. But you could say it about each other. And that's the whole problem. That's like when Cam was going at it with Ocho. I'm like, instead of y'all fighting, y'all could go out there and play 11 on 11 and stream it. I said that before we even got to Shiloh. And Shiloh has over 440,000 views on his I was waived from the Buccaneers. And the video next to it had 1.2 million views. And it was a video with his mom about a year or two ago. So I posted a message on X at Shiloh Sanders. I said, hey, we need you to drop another vlog. Keep going. The thing is, these people feel like they're nothing without football. Hopefully he working on something. Hopefully, but he need to get out there and do another restaurant review. He need to get out there and go play Twitch again. Whatever he does, he need to keep doing it. But to not do anything shows you how important football was. But again, if you're not honest with yourself about the NFL, then you're going to be in your feelings. That's why I say anybody that's surprised that there's a double standard and they say they're an NFL fan, you're not paying attention. The NFL dropped the list of 32 starting quarterbacks with all 32 quarterbacks because they saw going viral the Black 16, because that's what I'm going to call them. Just like the Wyoming 14, the Black 14. That's what they called it in Wyoming, the Black 14. Now it's the Black 16. I've never known the NFL to put out a picture of all 32 quarterbacks. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. Because after Lamar got drafted, honestly, I stopped paying attention. I think I watched the Bengals win the Super Bowl, and I remember much after that. Probably because of Colin Kaepernick somewhere about a year or two after that. You're not paying attention. They only dropped that because it was going viral about the 16 black. They don't want that. That's why they didn't talk about it in the draft. It was documented that the upward trend was happening. It was documented that it had gone up and down. Like it had gone to 13 to 14, 14 back to 13 to 12. But now it's just a steady up. So they stopped it themselves. Can't wait till somebody make the connection and say, wait a minute. That's why they took Shedeur off the board. They don't want to do it. I don't know if they don't want to believe it or they scared. All skin folk ain't kin folk. Sometimes we can be the biggest enemy, haters. Yep, crabs in a barrel. That's it. Definitely crabs in a barrel mentality when it comes to these players. Because you can see, how is it that none of them that have gotten waived have gotten together to go stream a football game? That's crazy. That's crazy to me. I find that so bizarre. It's right there for you. It's all about the money, especially when their own lives have been tainted, right? And I really don't think their lives are what people think they are. That's something else. I was watching either It Is What It Is, but when they were talking about the money and how it is, you'll hear them say, I think it was Michael Irvin, you hear them say, oh, you got a $10 million contract. It was Michael Irvin. He said, oh, it sounds good. Oh, they just signed so-and-so for a $10 million contract. He said he call them one tracks. It's not a bilateral contract, so he call it one track because it's not two ways. It's not bilateral. And most employees in America have bilateral contracts, right? But not the NFL. I mean, it's crazy the things that they agree to. He said, you'll hear them say, so-and-so signed a deal for $10 million. He said, you ain't gonna get that money. They're gonna cut you before you gotta pay you. What happened to, what's his name that just left that say he didn't want to come back? Huntley. Cleveland has cut Huntley twice before the first game check. So over in Baltimore, they say it was an interview or something that he was asked about going back to Cleveland. He said he didn't want to go back because it's trash. He knows it. If he don't want to go back over there, you think the guys coming out of school with this NIL money making $4 million a year like Carson Beck want to go to Cleveland? No. Because they know Baker Mayfield was over there and it didn't work out. See, they can actually see easier than we can see. The black quarterbacks don't have it good in Cleveland, but they also know the white ones don't either, but for different reasons. See, you can't say it's not racism because Baker Mayfield has not been mistreated like Shedeur. He just didn't fit Stefanski's system, but nobody does. Nobody does. All Stefanski does is play Jimmy the Crow. That's it. That's what he does. He fits that bill to make sure the team is as white as possible in the positions that it can be, so that most of their skilled players are white, that he gets a white quarterback, he holds the black quarterback back. He berates Deshaun Watson. He say he don't fit, so let's bench him. Shedeur don't fit. I'm like, so don't nobody fit in your system. And you sub 500, but you still have a job because of what you have seen him do to Shedeur. That is why he has a job. I saw people on X arguing about his 2 awards that he got. They said those were given. These are white people arguing with each other. They said he was given those. He didn't earn those. When they go arguing with each other, like, the truth gonna come out, right? So I don't know how Cleveland game's gonna go. I don't know if people gonna show up at the Cincy game. I mean, they got some diehard fans of all colors, but I think because it's not a lot happening in Cleveland. At least that's the impression I get, right? It's like going to the games is like a status symbol in Cleveland. It's not in Atlanta. There's so much stuff going on in Atlanta, whatever, right? Sometimes you don't even know it's a game happening because there's so many other things to do in Atlanta that's happening at the same time. So I don't think Cleveland is that way. I think it's like a small town, and in sports, if it's not basketball season, you got people that patronize the basketball team. Some of them patronize all of them. And that's their social circle. Like some people, they go to church and they be there all day because that's their social environment. That's how Cleveland is with sports. It's like, you seem like if you don't go to any of the sporting events, what else are you really doing over there? If you from Cleveland, let me know. I'm not trying to berate your town, but I don't see much else happening outside of the sports. I know y'all had a ballet and stuff like that too, but everybody doesn't, go to that. But I meant in terms of people using that like a status symbol. That's their social. That seems like their social network. And that's where Ohio State come in at too. Check out the Pivot podcast. Ryan Clark went in on Arch Manning. Oh, okay. Let's see how long before he retreats, because he will flip backwards in about 24 to 48 hours. Hate to say it, but now you can't say most. You can't say most. You can't say that. I'm not going to even let you say that, Beach. 22 said, I never surprised Shannon trash Colorado and Caden because that's what he does. Yeah, I think so too. I think Shannon is he's not even disappointing. He does it all the time now. Ryan Clark went in on Shedeur. So he went in on Shedeur and Manning. I saw a clip of you in another show. Oh, you're going to have to tell me what show so I can see it. Thank you, Don. Was it good? Let me know if it was good. I hope it was a good part. It said, yes, Shannon is bug dancing, trying to get on network TV. That's what they do. You see, that's what they do. It's funny. Ryan Clark will try to stand up and say something, but then he got to retract his statement in 24 to 48 hours. But then Shannon is doing what Cam just went through. I think they try to berate Black people so they could get on these shows. I totally agree with that. That's why when he was on with Michael Irvin, I didn't even watch it. I think that's why Michael Irvin on his show. Michael Irvin gets so much shine. I think he want Michael Irvin to come on his show. I didn't even watch it. I watched Michael Irvin on its own show, or It Is What It Is with Cam and Mace. It said, I seen a small clip of you talking about the Browns on a major outlet. It was about 5 seconds. What? Y'all gonna have to start dropping these links so I can check myself out. Thank you so much. That's nice. Long as it's good, because I don't want them taking something and misusing it. Thank you for letting me know, man. It said, yes, Ryan Clark is bug dancing after ESPN gave him that big money this summer. That's how they trap. Yep, that is how they trap them. They like, look, we paying you to do this. Sis, why did Dion bug dance for Schumer messed up offensive calls? Oh, Lord. Oh, we talked about that. I came to a conclusion. So I'm not going to say he buck dancing. I'm going to tell you what it is. Remember when the contract negotiation happened this summer, whenever it was, Doc Livingston got his contract first, right? So I want you to know this was the order of things. The order of things. Let me click off of this. Hold on. The order of things was Coach Prime was going to Dallas. Jerry Jones stood up for him. That's how you know something happened. Jerry Jones stood up for him. And the next thing you know, that didn't happen. And I knew that he was using that as leverage. And I said I didn't think Colorado appreciated that, because the next move Colorado made was to give Doc Livingston his contract. I said, ooh, that's not good. I said, because they giving Doc Livingston that contract, so Coach Prime don't ever have any kind of leverage over them again. You follow me? So, then Coach Prime got his contract. And I thought about it. I listened to Coach Prime say he want to hold he and his coaches to a higher standard. And I think I heard the linebacker Coach Hart say something similar about the coaching. I said, now, the coordinators are not coaches. And he didn't mention neither one of them two. But he got agitated when they asked about a coordinator, and that was Pat. I said, I don't think he can fire Doc Livingston. I don't. Remember, Doc got his contract before Coach Prime got his, when Coach Prime was supposedly interviewing for Colorado. The order of things told me that CU didn't appreciate that. Because afterwards, Coach Prime was like, I would never go to the NFL. And they were like, oh, so you was just trying to get more money from us, or trying to force us to do this. You notice they dragged out his contract. I don't think he can fire Doc Livingston. I don't. And since he can't fire Doc Livingston, I don't think he can fire Pat Schumer either. Now, I could be wrong about Pat. I'll stand 10 toes down and tell you he can't fire Doc Livingston. The reason why I'm going to tell you that is CU gave Doc Livingston the most lucrative off defensive coordinator contract in history. That means they lining him up to be the next head coach. And if you listen to what he said, he got irritated when they asked about Pat, but he threw defense under the bus. That's on Doc Livingston, that they don't have a run game. Because either the personnel is not right, or you're not calling the right play schemes. And if the personnel is good, because you just got some more people, then you're not calling the right play schemes. And Pat Schumer kept the defense on the field, which means them two could be working together. I told y'all, Doc Livingston looked like he ain't got nothing to worry about. I don't think Coach Prime can fire Doc Livingston. Which means maybe he can fire Schumer, but he's not going to. I think we're going to see how this game go. We're going to see how this game go. Because I think at some point, if this goes badly, we're going to realize who's in charge, and it ain't Coach Prime. Right now, it seems to be. But he giving figurehead. He's giving figurehead because I said it on X. He's uncomfortable holding Doc and Schumer accountable. Tell me, y'all see it too, right? And this isn't anything bad about him, but this is the situation he created. See, he brought in his NFL people, which is supposed to be the experts. And then you was going to leave us seemingly to go to the Cowboys, even though it was just a ploy. And they didn't like that. So they gave Doc the contract. He can't fire him. The only way you let Pat Schumer, there's only two things here about Pat Schumer play calling, because he knew about it. It's obvious. He said it. Well, if everybody had made the plays, we wouldn't be talking about this. I said, so that means you knew what he called. Maybe he has no choice but to let Pat call the offense. Maybe he was gone too long, and Pat was the one that was leading the team. Because after the head coach is the offensive coordinator, am I right? The position most likely to become head coach is offensive coordinator. I mean, yes, the DC can become a head coach, but it's typically quarterback coach become an OC become a head coach. Now, I don't see them making Pat Schumer the head coach because that's a disaster. And I don't know if they gave him a new contract because I didn't hear nothing about that. But it seems to me he can't fire Doc because of the contract he got, which that's CU putting Doc in place. But he won't buck Pat Schumer. I mean, if I gave Doc a lucrative contract and he don't have no problem with Pat Schumer, maybe I ain't gonna let you fire Pat Schumer. Maybe they know what's gonna happen. So his frustration tell you that he knew the play calling was a problem. But what you don't know is why he allowed it. Because he allowed it. Are you trying to set Caden up? Because that ain't going to go over well with the fan base. Because fans are already upset feeling like he threw Caden under the bus. Fans are already upset feeling like he trying to dismiss Caden when he the one brought Caden there. So that can't be it because you don't want to go there. And of course, he's excited to start Juju. And I always knew Juju would play in this game. Not start, but play. But we got to take care of this Caden situation first. And to allow Pat Schumer to call the kind of offense that he did. And when people ask you about it, all you say, throw up your arms and say, well, if everybody had executed the way they were expected to, we wouldn't be having this conversation. That's not true. Because it came up that JoJo's mom wasn't happy about his underutilization. Remember last year, Draylon's mom wasn't happy about it? Anybody remember Draylon's mom calling out the school, calling out the coaching, saying, why isn't Draylon being utilized? And you see he is. Now it's JoJo. These parents not playing. These parents are not playing. And guess what I saw today? Now we're going to see what Goldberg can do. Now, you know where that came from. You know where that came from. And that should have been happened. That should have been happened because if we struggled last year on defense, why didn't he get a chance this time? See, Coach Prime is being pressured. The people at the top want him to win right now, and you're not going to fire nobody else because no. See, this year 3, you can't go to them people and say, I got to get rid of Pat. They ain't going to listen to you. They're going to be like, Well, you know what? We got Doc. You can go ahead on and go. That's what's going to happen. That's why Doc got that contract. But now parents are speaking out, whether we hear it or not. I don't think it's a coincidence that I'm hearing we're going to see what Goldberg does. I think it's crazy that the highest PFF on defense was somebody named Sean Myers, and he wasn't even listed as a starter. Now he's going to have a bigger role. You see all of the pressure, the players that perform well, that's pressure to start them over who you had. And I told somebody, I really didn't understand why McNeil and I think McNeil and 2 of the others didn't have good numbers. And they were like, because they do the pass rush. I'm like, they didn't run the ball all night. In the first quarter alone, they struggled. And none of those guys had solo tackles. They all had assist tackles. And I expected to see something else. Our PFF grades on defense were mostly in the 60s and the 70s. That's not good. When you looked at Georgia Tech, they was in the 80s and 90s. So it makes people ask, are you not recruiting the right people? Or are you not playing the right scheme? But I read something that said CU's defense was good for a while. They tapped out. And Coach Prime should have addressed that in his press conference. We got to make sure we get the defense off the field. I mean, if you can't say that, then Pat Schumer running the show. That's what I think. Because ain't no way you going to sit up there and let Pat Schumer make you look bad like that if you have the power to take that headset from him. Tell me I'm wrong. So maybe because he was gone so long, they like, well, somebody was in charge. I don't know who it was. And maybe it's hard. Maybe he like Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson got hurt. They got Daniel Jones, and now it's Daniel Jones' job. Coach Prime was out dealing with a personal matter, and maybe now it's Pat's job. I'm just saying. That's what it's given. That's what it's given. And a lot of the coaches weren't there during the summer. Remember, it was Coach Swayze for the most part. And I thought Coach Prime was back by the time they got to the fall, so he should have been there. I thought he was there, but they're treating it like he was on extended leave and Pat Schumer was in charge and he's still in charge. Because he definitely was in charge of that horrendous offense, including putting handcuffs on Caden Salter. That's shameful. That's just like Stefanski with Shedeur. That's why I made the comparison. So I don't think he tap dancing. I think he don't want us to know there's a reason why he won't criticize or hold accountable, not criticize, that he won't hold accountable the coordinators. Notice he kept saying our coaches have to elevate. So you know your coordinator's not going to listen. Is that what I'm hearing? We're going to see. The Delaware game going to tell you some things. Actually, I say it's not the Delaware game, but it's going to tell you something. If it goes wrong, it's going to speak volumes. If you see the same play calling, if you see the same struggle on offense, if you see Caden not being utilized like a dual threat, then that tell you Pat Schumer's in charge, and Coach Prime is going to allow him to call whatever. So tomorrow we're going to talk more about Colorado because I've been watching film for the most part, and I saw some things, and it confirmed why I'm right about Juju is not the answer, and I'd rather him stay on the bench because we got a problem somewhere. And it's visible if you watch it, right? That people talking about, oh, we gonna went back and watch the 22 plays. I'm like, I don't give a damn. Pat Schumer's offense is still trash. I don't have a problem with Caden not being perfect. I don't have a problem with Caden having first day jitters. Juju's gonna have them too. But I have a problem with the play calling, and I still got a problem with the O-line. And I don't like what I saw, and we're gonna talk about it tomorrow. It made it look like Swayze didn't do no conditioning this summer, and that's sad. And I know he did. They're major networks watching, right? I believe so. It said, I like Shedeur at QB3. Let Flacco and Dillon go first. I'd rather see Shedeur finish the season. Right. Cam Newton feet. Excuse me, Schumer. Yep. Hey, it says Shannon Buck dancing. Now, he definitely doing that. He definitely doing that. It said, I seen a small clip of you talking from a major network. It was like 5 seconds. They're watching. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Okay. Thank you. Hey, May, how you doing? Thank you for that. It said, nah, dude. It said, Cam Newton been in his feelings since he went to Colorado and felt Shedeur was ignoring him, but Shedeur was just getting ready for a game. Oh, that was the UCF game. I don't even know if he set foot in Colorado. That was the UCF game in Orlando. And it's crazy how he talked about Shedeur. I'm like, have you ever been to Colorado? I don't even know if Cam has ever been to a game at CU, first year or second. It said they don't have the guts to say that's why I listen to what she said, sports, because she's not scared to speak the truth. No. I'm like, that's crazy. And you know what's so sad about that, being honest? I think if people were honest about the situation, you wouldn't be able to get away with it. That's why they can get away with it, because they know they have the media, especially black media, and they do that intentionally. They know that if the black people say that Shedeur is trash, then he trash. But that's because they think we're not smart. But we show up and show that we smart all the time. Because if I believed all the black people that have access on these platforms, Shedeur wouldn't have sold 2 million jerseys. That's the connection they never seem to make. They never make the connection that Shedeur has 2 million fans because he's good, because they don't want to make the connection. You know how you know they know Shedeur is good? Because they went and got Pickett, Flacco, and Dillon to block him. Pickett is gone, and where is he? Vegas, just in case Tom Brady thought he might try it. And now he out here stepping, fetching it. He didn't say the person's name. Several people sent me the video where he was talking about somebody celebrating. People say he was insinuating that it was Shedeur. I'm like, okay, first of all, you played football with some deflated footballs, and you knew they were deflated. And the rest of your team did not. So don't be out here talking about football is a team sport and who you celebrate with, and you don't like when they do the guns, this, that, and the other. Don't be ragging on people that do that. Maybe it's just not for you. But you cheated. So what does that make you? Mr. High and Mighty, right? So all they did was put Pickett over there to make sure Shedeur don't go nowhere else like that. That's why Carson Wentz is in Minnesota. That's why the Rams came out and said, nope, Jared Goff is not Matt Stafford, he good, he gonna be fine, because they didn't want him over there. I felt like people were thinking they were gonna try to move Shedeur. Every time they try to move Shedeur, the Shadeurians show up. And they can't do it. They want to do it, but they're not ready for the backlash. And now that the 16 quarterbacks are running out there, that's why they put out the 32 with the filter on it, because they don't want people talking about this, why they took Shedeur off the board. They don't want people making a connection to 16 quarterbacks when in a draft, it should have been 17. The moment you hear somebody on one of these bigger channels or podcasts say, well, you know, Shedeur would have been 17, but they don't even look at the NFL like that. Even the people from the NFL don't look at it holistically. They just read whatever talking points they were text. Like the guy with the Burberry. He just was told what the topic was going to be and just decided to audition. Because he using that platform to get to another platform. He felt obligated. 12 should act a certain way around him. Tom Brady can go straight to hell. It said, Donald Muhammad, they are bucking because they are worried about acceptance and money. Yeah, they just trying to get one of these network jobs. It said, have you seen the Browns schedule? It what? Though I can many losses. See if you can retype that one. Hey, Valerie, how you doing? Pam C said not only that, they took away his receiver he had built a rapport with and put him in with Huntley. Right. And here's the thing. This is how you know they know Shedeur is good. Shedeur, in my opinion, is the reason Luke got signed. But unfortunately, Luke got hurt. Now, I thought they were going to cut. And actually, they probably would have. If Luke was still there, they probably were going to cut Gage. But if you notice, right around the time of that Luke got hurt, either a little bit before, a little bit afterwards, I heard them say when they were having open practices, oh, it looks like Luke and Shedeur know exactly what each other is thinking. I knew right then and there. I was like, oh, here we go. So I thought they was going to cut Gage. Then Luke got hurt. And what did they do? They didn't cut him because they needed a receiver, and he's good. Because Shedeur helped Luke. Shedeur helped Gage like he did everybody else that went to the league from CU. They were like, well, since we don't have Luke, Gage really is good. Let's take him from Shedeur. Anything they think Shedeur want, they going to take. If he want to play, see, Shedeur ought to just be nonchalant about everything. Oh, yeah. You know, when people come around him when it's time to play the Titans, you know what he ought to do? Oh, yeah. We get ready to play the Titans. And this is how they going to try to get under his skin. If he say, oh, yeah, that's my buddy Cam, they going to make sure he don't get out there. They going to make sure he the one on the bench while Cam is playing. Because if they played Travis, they would do the same thing. They try to get at him. Sometimes I think they want him to quit. Sometimes that's kind of the impression I get. Because they know they can't get to him. If he just sit up there while they saying it and don't say nothing, or if they ask him, hey, you know, aren't you good friends with, because they don't know everything. Aren't you good friends with Cam? If he go, oh yeah, that's my buddy. If he be like, Cam who? Oh, I thought you maybe knew the guy from the Titans. You talking about the guy from Miami? Oh, okay. And that's it. And walk off. Or go talk to somebody else. They don't know what to think. They're gonna be like, yeah, he don't care about that. But if they think he wants something, like they knew he was good enough to start. They knew he wanted to start. They knew he would come in and work hard because they said it how many times. And it didn't matter. Anything that he want, they try to take from him. That's why I said from the jump, you don't want nothing. You don't have no expectations. When he said, I have plenty of time, that was the best thing that he could say about playing not playing in Cleveland. I have plenty of time. So what have they been doing? Showing him, you ain't gonna be here. We gonna get somebody else. We ain't gonna never let you start. Okay. You only paying me $4 million, so I don't give a damn. That's the attitude I want him to have. I just want you to collect your paychecks and do something nice with it. I don't want you to want nothing from these people, because anything they think you want, they gonna take from you. Whether it's playing against one of your buddies, Whether it's playing in this game against Joe Burrow, because, I know he liked Joe Burrow. I don't know what the hell they know. But if they knew that, they would make it a point to try to embarrass him. Don't talk your business to nobody around there, because they're going to send somebody to find out some stuff about you. They see they can't get to you. Let them think whatever the hell they want to think. Consider this season a season to sit back and learn, have fun with your teammates, and be ready to go when God break that door open. Because it's going to happen. All they trying to do with running out here to Ohio State and wherever the hell else they were was to tell Shedeur, yeah, we know you could be our franchise QB, but we don't want you. I'm like, and y'all think y'all desirable? When I tell you Cleveland is a trash bin for the NFL, you watch what happened in this draft. You already see the way they said it was going to go. It ain't going. It ain't going. And it's going to be a problem. If Manning struggle for the rest of the season, somebody going to get booted out the way so they can make way for NFL royalty. Nussmeier. Somebody. It's probably Castellanos, if I had to guess. Pay attention. Just pay attention. So Shedeur, just like we not worried about the game, if he get in, he know we'll come watch. Don't have no expectations. And stay ready, because they going to try you. They going to try you. And don't trust your O-line. I sent Caden a message today. He probably will never check it. And it's funny because I've sent him messages before. I said, advice. Roll out to the left whenever possible. Stay the hell away from the RT, from the right side. Go watch Shedeur Sanders. I want you to study Shedeur Sanders in the Baylor game, because you in the same situation. Now, he may never read it, but, God can put something on your heart, because that's what he needs to do. The fact that Pat Schumer kept sending him to the right when it was obvious from me at home watching 53 and 55 not do their jobs, and you keep sending him that way. Hell, even Shedeur rolled out to the left in Baylor, and I remember the announcer saying Pat Schumer called a different play. I don't know if it was Pat Schumer. I know Shedeur said the hell with it and went to the left because he was sacked 8 times. It took him to get sacked 8 times before he realized that the guy on the end, the right tackle, I think 67, was letting him get popped. So he rolled out to the left. Now, I didn't know who called that play. The announcer said it was Pat Schumer. I'm not so sure, because he didn't switch it up for Caden. And we're going to see what happened in this Delaware game. And understand, if they got it in for Coach Prime, they ain't going to take care of Juju. If they plotting against him, they not going to take care of Juju. Did they take care of Caden? And he's a top 15 QB. If the goal is just to get at Coach Prime, just like they're trying to get at Shedeur, everybody else going to be collateral damage. So, yep, you're right about the receiver. The moment they realized Shedeur and Gage had a connection, they broke them up. That's why I said, don't let them people know you got nothing. Their brothers are talking football the way we talk football. The same conversation is happening amongst black men in America. That's good. You talking about that guy that was on the clip? Yeah. And that's why I said it's crazy that the media can't say it, because you got somebody external to the situation who has no problem saying it. That just makes them look foolish. And it just lets us know we can't trust them. So who they pandering to? Because it ain't us. You're not going to convince us Shedeur was not good. So who are you trying to convince? That's the real question. Who are they trying to convince? You can't fool us, just like Cleveland can't fool us. Who are you trying to convince? What audience? Because it ain't the black audience. Because we don't believe you. It said, of course, they make excuses for Arch Manning. First game losing, and Shedeur first game in a Power 5 against TCU, Colorado won. Yep. Shedeur ball out, and they make excuses for TCU. Right. All they trying to do is justify why they going to draft Arch. If Arch could be the last quarterback in the draft, and they still going to draft him first. Facts. That's why I say somebody going to get booted out. It said, what's my point about what's happening in the NFL? There's a lot of polarization going on. They call Shedeur fans a cult to divert attention They even have a baby AI speaking on how they're doing Shedeur. A baby AI? That's crazy. I mean, it makes sense. I said from the beginning. I said the NFL gonna split its fan base when it comes to Shedeur because the NFL took Shedeur off the board and said he was entitled. Nobody believes that. 2 million jerseys were sold after that. Coach Prime sold out year 3 of season tickets at Colorado. So nothing the NFL did worked because the people coming to the league or that were already waiting for Shedeur to come to the league don't believe them. Cleveland has no credibility because they're a trash organization. Now people are looking at the owners and learning how they conduct business, starting with the 61-page document on collusion where they told a brand new owner of the Denver Broncos that they couldn't give Russell Wilson a particular contract because he knew he don't know how it works. That's when we learned that they aren't even competing with each other for talent. Instead, 32 teams are working together to pigeonhole black quarterbacks so they don't succeed. And yet, they still rising up. And to give preference to the Mannings, to Darts, to Tyler Shaw. And you see how that worked out with Tyler Shaw. They propped up Dart too. That's why they're not in a hurry to make him a starter. But they know they're going to swap him out before Russ gets to play the majority of the games. So they hoping he come along. They don't want to tell you he been over there working with somebody. I only know Tyler Shaw was at the Manning Academy because I was doing research. And that still didn't help him because it's a passing academy. It's more to being a quarterback than passing the ball. And that's what makes Shedeur so great. That's what makes Lenore Sellers so great. The combination of athleticism and football IQ and experience. They don't have that because they've been given an easy route the whole way through. So this is where you got to toughen up. They don't even want to be sacked at this level. That's insane to me. They're not comfortable with it. Dylan not comfortable with being sacked. Tyler Shaw and Jackson Dart. They had Fort Knox around Jackson Dart so he don't get sacked. They call plays that he could hurry up and get the ball out of his hands so he doesn't get pressured because he panics. That's up here. Shedeur don't panic. He'll just stand there and throw it. Lenore Sellers realized what was going on. He started using his legs. Now I need Caden to do that too. For Coach Prime to tell Caden, play your game, he was supposed to tell Pat Schumer that. Why didn't he tell Pat Schumer that? See, that comes back to who's in charge here. It's crazy to put Caden in that situation. Pat Schumer should have been down there on the ground so Caden could hear him. It's his first game, but he wasn't trying to take care of Caden. He was trying to get a game away. Let's see if he give the Delaware game away or make it harder than it needs to be. That's what Jordan Seaton said. Some people make football too difficult. Dylan Gabriel can't take hits. Yeah. Dylan, Tyler Shaw, Jackson Dart. That's why they have to call a game that he can get the ball out of his hand quickly. Yeah, Shedeur did everything he could do. That's why he just need to hang out with his friends, enjoy your time in this city, and you there temporarily. And if you there long term, it's because the rest of them going to get cleaned out. House going to get cleaned out. It could happen. He fumbles just handing off the ball, so whatever Stefanski try to do is going to fail. Right, because the pressure. See, here's the thing about handing off the ball. It's still going to be pressure. It's still going to be pressure because last I checked, the running back not right there. You see, he got to get a moment to kind of come to you. And those edge rushers, if they good, if they like Njoku, he's a tight end, but like Myles Garrett, oh, Lord. They get scared when they see it coming. Tyler Shaw fell backwards when the pressure was coming towards him. That's how real it is. That's why they had Fort Knox around Dart so he don't get scared. TCU took Dylan Gabriel out when he played for the OU Sooners. Wow. Hey, Gracie, how you doing? Oh, I see y'all put the amen in the chat. Okay. It said, yes, they think we are a cult because we want Shedeur to be treated fairly. I don't care what they say. They know we not no cult. They just don't want to admit that they have a good quarterback. They don't want to admit they being racist. It's funny how they let Stefanski be openly racist, in my opinion, and be truly discriminatory against Shedeur, right? Holding Shedeur back, allowing Dylan to go ahead. Shedeur wins the contest twice. Shedeur still can't get it. Dylan throws an interception. Then Shedeur gets sacked, sit up, because he don't throw an interception. They allow Stefanski to be openly discriminatory and use coded, thinly veiled language like we're going to have to put him down. He got sacked 5 times after that. Don't get lost on that. They'll do that as if only their people can understand that thinly coded, thinly veiled language. But the moment you start calling them out to be racist and discriminatory, then they get upset. Then we're a cult. That's why we're a cult. Because we won't just go away. We're not a cult. We see y'all being racist. It's funny how they think the dog whistle is something only they can hear. Maybe if we didn't have social media, maybe if a lot of us weren't from the South, maybe if we didn't watch TV, but the fact that you can learn just about anything you want to learn, why wouldn't I know that? I might not know it when I hear it the first time. But actually, when I heard him say we're going to have to put him down, I was doing something else. I wasn't even looking at the TV. I almost got whiplash. I said, wait, what the hell did he say? That's not normal. Then when they're talking about he can't read the playbook, they talking to their fans. They think we don't know what they're saying. They think we don't know that that's the stereotype they use against all black quarterbacks. They being openly racist and they think we don't know. That's why we're a cult. So we don't have the credibility to call them racist. They can go to hell. Panthers released the guy, Renfro, and re-signed him, making him a starter, which pushes Jimmy out of the starter role. I don't think Jimmy's a starter anyway. When I saw Jimmy after the 53-man roster, he was 3rd on the depth chart. So I think that's where he's just going to do like punt returns for them. Hey, Lee, how you doing? Amen. Hey, Valerie. It said Mary Cabot said today that the Browns are now more supportive of Shedeur, and he may be starting at the beginning of the season. The Browns have received a lot of backlash from everywhere. That or they want to get a winning season for $4 million. I'm going to put a star by that. We're going to see. Not watching either. Yeah, we're not watching it. Liddell, they want ticket sales. People know the games they're playing. Right. And it's crazy how they think we don't know. Mary Cabot just want the fans to come back. That's all it is. You know why? Because we're not watching their videos no more. I ain't watching that little documentary. I don't follow any of their reporters. If I see anything about them, it's because if I follow somebody that follows them, then I can see it. So it has to go through another person or two before like a layer before it gets to me. I get it indirectly. And I'm probably going to unfollow whoever that was. I just like it better. It seems more peaceful not to follow them. I follow Shedeur. He posts stories all the time. So I can see that Shedeur is good. And if he's playing, I'm going to find out about it, right? So screw them. They just want us to come back. It's funny how we a cult, but they want us to engage. Nope. You want Dylan and Flacco? Be happy with that. I'm a Steelers fan, but I like Shedeur. And that's something else the NFL refuses to acknowledge, that we're not all Colorado fans. That 2 million people that bought jerseys were not Colorado fans. I'm sure there were Colorado fans a part of that. But those are NFL fans. They don't want to admit it. They're going to learn one way or the other. And say, yeah, I'm not wasting time unless Shedeur is actually on the field. Right. And for more than a down. For more than a down. Let them go to war with their fan base. Let them go to war with the advertisers and the sponsors. We tuning out. We got other people to watch. You don't want to push Shedeur in? You ain't hurt my feelings because I'm going to go watch Travis. Now, I would watch if Shedeur was a starter, but since y'all want to play, I'm going to go watch Travis and Jimmy. And then later on, I'm going to watch LeJontay and I'm going to check in on Zay Weaver and whoever else because they feel like we don't have options. We don't live in Cleveland. We have other stuff to do. We were taking our precious time to watch this. But since you want to say you want to mistreat him, we're not giving you our attention. You see, we gifted it to you when he went there. But now we see how you treat him and you holding him back, but you're using us for clicks. Nope. We're not doing it. It said Cleveland will start giving out free tickets. They need to, 45 cents. And it still don't go. Amen. It said Michael Irvin was one of the first of the triplets signed. Oh, were you talking about the triplets? All the black podcasters are flip-flopping, right? And see, another thing that's happening to them, like a lot of people like Gil's Arena, and then now they have this show with Skip, and they might, if they get rid of that little dude on the end with the Burberry, don't be surprised. Because people were talking about it a lot in the comments, so they're gonna hear about it. With Gil and Skip, I like those two. I felt like it could have just been them. But then that other guy to the left of Skip, to the left of Skip, because it was Gil, Skip, and another, whoever that was, he was pretty decent. He made good points. It didn't take him forever, and he wasn't yelling and screaming. So he was just, they were just talking about the points and the facts. So he could stay. But the other dude, he got to go. Just get somebody else. I think Ocho was speaking on what's happening with Shedeur. Okay, that's good. That's good. It said, you notice that Michael Irvin talked about everything with Jerry Jones except Shedeur, because he knows. That's what I'm saying. Michael Irvin knows. He knows. I was like, oh, so he tight with Jerry like that. Jerry went and got Michael Irvin, or Michael Irvin went and got Jerry so they could talk about Michael Parsons. That's how you know they tight. And it was the three of them. Prime, Irvin, and Jones. Something happened. Something happened. Well, I know Jerry Jones is probably going along with the rest of the owners, but it wouldn't surprise me if Dallas is doing poorly and the two quarterbacks they have, if it gets to a point where Michael Irvin just say, why don't you just get Shedeur? He'll do it. He'll do it. But something happened, and Michael Irvin knows what it is. Yeah, Michael Irvin knows exactly what it is. The Cleveland media was trying to make it look like they didn't get along. It said, my dog's got a hold of Manning. That's crazy. It said, Sharon Brantley also said, amen. It said, last year when Texas played UGA, Manning got one good run and the dog shut him down. That's why I said this is second year and it ain't starting out too well. You know what they're gonna do, right? When they play Sam Houston, they're gonna talk about this forever. Forever. Detroit just signed a 2% battery life for QB CJ Beathard. Now they have 3 QBs. That's all they're doing is using 2% battery lifers to stack the deck. So when they go to the draft or when people get traded, that people like Shedeur don't end up number 17. That's all it is. But Skip really didn't like for people to talk bad about Shedeur. Now he didn't. He don't. I feel like Skip has been the most consistent about Shedeur that I can think of. Hey, how you doing, carnivores? Welcome back. Welcome back. Miss Texas Cannon. Hello, glad to catch this lab. Okay, all right. Liddell said, I read on draft day 2, Jerry Jones said he made calls to owners, attest to Shedeur's good character because he knew the family for years. Jerry said he didn't take him because he didn't need a QB. He lying. He got, how many QBs they have in Dallas? 2? They cleared house on the 3 and 4. You don't think he knew that they was going to do that? Something happened. Well, guess what? He gets to prove himself. Because if Dallas is doing poorly and Shedeur just sitting over there, let's say Dillon can hold it down and Flacco, the combination of the two, then why wouldn't he go get it? So we're going to see if that's true. Even Skip was like, I can't believe Jerry Jones didn't get Shedeur. That's like his godson almost. Cam Newton isn't going to say anything bad about Arch Manning because, yep, that's facts. That's facts. Baker Mayfield has a black card. That's hilarious. Who gave that to him? It's that all of the players who didn't get signed should start a league. I have said it multiple times. It just seems to me that life without football is the end of the world for them. And I want these kids who in school, who playing football, especially in college, to have something else going on. Something else going on. I know definitely if Sanders are involved, they will definitely get the eyes. Yeah. Shedeur said he learned a lot from Huntley, and that's why he gone. I told you anything that benefits Shedeur got to go when he was there in Cleveland. He was blessed for him to be there, right? And y'all see Huntley don't want to go back. See? Because it's trash. It's probably a toxic, and I bet it's toxic. I bet you could just feel the ineptness and the stupidity. I bet you could just feel it and you can cut it with a knife and you can feel the racism when you walk through the door. I bet they got Jim Crow propped up right outside at the reception desk in the front so that when you come in, you're not surprised when you see the white players are treated a certain way and the black players are treated differently. They don't want to admit to that, but that's what they are. Jimmy the Crow. Jimmy the Crow. They sure gonna miss them millions of Shedeur fans. Facts. We just waiting on Shedeur to move on. Huntley know what they doing to Shedeur because Huntley and Shedeur was friends. Yep. He probably was tired of the BS stop using him. I agree. When they said he didn't want to come back, I was like, oh, that's how you know it's bad. See, Shedeur, all of those people were his angels around him. And I mean, I think he still has some. It's just I don't see him as much anymore. In Cleveland, I watch his social media. I follow him. I have his notifications on. And when people said they got together and watched the game at his penthouse or something like that, and they was working on music together, I said, okay, he good. He's surrounded by some friends. They gonna hold him. They gonna uphold him. So, but for Huntley not to want to come back, Cleveland is a trash bin. Trash bin. The organization is a trash bin. These rookie QBs will get their chance. Instead, let the best QB win. Shedeur is the best QB. It's just, I'm fine if he don't start because I need to see this O-line for a couple of games. Schumer has more passing yards than Peyton Manning coming out of University of Tennessee and more touchdowns and less interceptions. Peyton couldn't win the big games in college. He had to go. Interesting. It said that's what Stephen A. Smith did, was talking positive about Shedeur and then changed it up totally different. Yeah, they flip-flop over there at ESPN. They are rookies. Body of work begins now. Preseason is preseason. Hey, Greasy, how you doing? We respectfully disagree. It said Peyton had to go to a scripted NFL with a big game. Super Bowl. Forget Arch. It said compare Shedeur to Peyton Manning coming out of college. Okay. I have never seen Sanders play in a regular NFL season game. Okay. And what does that mean? You know football, right? I mean, if you know football, then what's your point? I don't get it. Let me know. Jay said Cam Newton has always been an industry plant ever since the NFL locked him out. It's like that did something to him. And he been trying to, I don't know, look a certain way to them. It's like when the NFL trashed Cam, instead of him having the ability to relate to the other black quarterbacks, he act like he can't. Just weird. That's why I said that's kind of like delusion. That's like delusion. It said Cam Newton was a fantasy football master at one time. What happened? It said GOAT Coach Saban gave an example in an interview on his first most valuable coaching lesson. I hope Coach Prime has seen it and talked to Saban. You know, they friends. They're actually friends. So they make those Aflac commercials together. And I remember last year when Coach Saban voted against Colorado to win the game, his wife kind of went in on him. His wife was like, how are you going to vote against our good friend Deion Sanders? Miss Terry, that's her name. So they're friends. So yeah. And Coach Prime actually kind of looks up to Nick Saban. So I would imagine you would think he'd have some advice for him. They got Prime like a frog in the pot, slow cooking. This thing could get ugly very quickly. It could. That's why I said we're going to see how the game go on, was it Saturday? Shedeur also has more passing yards than Peyton Manning, University of Tennessee won the national championship. I said they could have called the timeout. Yeah, people not happy about that timeout. Yes, as the head coach, Deion Sanders has the absolute authority to fire Rob Livingston. I bet he don't. From the Colorado Buffs football staff, coaches are typically employed at the discretion of the head coach. No. That's why I was telling you what happened with the contract. No. And Doc Livingston don't even move like that's the case. Nope. When they gave Doc that contract after Coach Prime was using the Dallas Cowboys strategically, it's funny how Jerry Jones kind of came to help him with that. But then by the time we get to the draft, they just fell out. I'm like, this better not be about a woman. I know one thing. This better not be about a woman. It said that's what it seemed like. Schumer is in control. Yeah, it does. For him to call that kind of offense and Coach Prime not say nothing. He knew that was going to cut Caden out. So that's why, according to people who say that Coach Prime told him to play his game. I'm like, why wouldn't you just tell that to Schumer? So something's not right there. Something's not right. Black quarterback T. Martin, the first national championship, not Peyton. Look it up. Shedeur numbers were better than Peyton's. Oh, okay. It said cheating, cheater, Brady. Yeah, he cheated. He can't talk about nobody. It said Castellano is another black QB that works with Shedeur and Cam Ward, QB coach. Yeah, I saw that. I saw the video. And he said before the season started, when he transferred to FSU, he was going to be Alabama. Where did he transfer from? Do you know where he transferred from? And does Wake Forest have a black quarterback? Because remember, there was if you saw that video that you're talking about, there was a player from Wake Forest, and I think he was a quarterback too. I'm like, wow. And then Select QB put their roster out of all 8 quarterbacks. It got a lot of quarterbacks. I don't know if they all in Texas or not, but he got a lot of young quarterbacks that's coming up with him. It said Brady let air out of the footballs and got a slap on the wrist. Right. And then after the slap on the wrist, they repealed it. Shedeur is definitely the help for Gage. Facts. Hey, Miss Tex Cannon. It said, I wanted to create a channel this year to discuss the inequities, but I don't have time. You are capturing everything beautifully. Spot on. Thank you. That was so nice. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It said, cutting Tony Brown further showed Cleveland's contempt for Shedeur. Yeah, that was retaliation. They need to pay for that. You are the best because you do your research. Thank you, Doreen. Thank you so much. And I take the time. Thank you so much. It said everyone should watch today's well-off media. Title, we hit today. CP went off about everyone. Went off about everyone is using everyone. I don't know if it was pointed at the staff or what. I mean, I think the players just playing ball. At least the new ones and the ones that I can see out there hustling. I'm a little concerned about some of the older ones. Again, the right side of the O-line is still trash. Don't know why. When it comes to the right tackle, it's just problematic. Even when they rotate, 55 or 53, it's a goddamn problem. I do not understand that in year 3. I'm like, somebody on the ground is making sure that this is a problem. And I don't know if it's because Shedeur and Caden both rolled out to the right. Again, Caden gonna need to switch it up. But if you have the same problems in year 1, year 2, and year 3, somebody is trying to make a point that he should have not fired Sean Lewis. That the problem wasn't Sean Lewis. But see, here's the thing. Here's the problem. Maybe the problem wasn't Sean Lewis, but the rat is still there. Maybe Sean Lewis wasn't the only one setting him up, and the other person is still there. Because you're not going to tell me that in year 3, with different OCs and DCs, you still don't have a run defense. You still have a poor right side of the O-line, which is why I didn't want nobody back from last year and nobody back from year before. And your play calling still trash. Now, when Lewis was there, it was more creative play calling. I give you that. But I think the message is that you fired Lewis, but somebody is still there. Somebody is still there. Because the same exact thing is happening. It's like it's a message to Coach Prime. That's why it's not the left side of the O-line, because they can't get to Seton. But they can always get to 55, because 53 is new. But how they get to 53 so fast? Because 55 is there. See, if 55 wasn't there, it is a possibility 53 will be playing right. But 55, y'all watch them bench him, and he was mad. He should have never been allowed to come back. That's why I didn't even want the center. And then what happened with him? He started mis-snapping the ball. And the whole right side of the O-line was infected to the point I couldn't tell what side Justin Mayers was on. And I remember Coach Prime saying Justin Mayers was a good friend to Shedeur. I remember him saying that. I just was never 100% convinced. And When Shedeur went and gave Jordan Seaton a Maybach, I knew. I'm like, you should have waited. You should have waited until y'all was finished playing ball. Because if you ask me, that's why the Alamo Bowl was so atrocious. They were trying to punish Shedeur. I wish he had waited to give Seaton that Maybach because I knew people would be in their feelings, but I know why he gave it to him. Because Seaton was protecting him when the other ones weren't. But at the same time, you still needed them other ones to block for you. And that's why the Alamo Bowl went like it did. I said it. I said they're trying to punish Shedeur. And that's why. And I think that's why Cam be trying to say they don't like Shedeur. Here's the thing. How you in your feelings that he take care of, I guess, Seaton, who's a freshman, who he is probably instrumental with getting him there. But then some of the other people felt the way about it, but they weren't protecting him anyway. They just made it worse on him in the Alamo Bowl. So my thing was, when you get to the NFL, just either give everybody a gift or don't give nobody a gift, because the same thing is just going to happen, right? Even if they weren't protecting you, they still going to make it worse on you if you give somebody like Seaton a gift. They jealous. They jealous. And if you notice in the NFL, everybody get the gift. Like in Philadelphia, Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts got together and they bought the entire O-line, golf carts that were personalized, and they had them delivered to the practice facility, and it was backed up against the fence or against a barrier structure, and the entire O-line. And it was more than 5 of them out there. So that meant they took care of everybody. That's what Shedeur is going to have to do in the NFL. And I get it. He realized Seaton was protecting him, but also, too, he's part of the reason Seaton is there. So Juju got his cars, too. And sometimes I worried that maybe the new people didn't like Caden. I mean, at first they did. And at first it seemed like they didn't like Juju, remember? And Juju had a little tough time kind of integrating a little bit. And then he kind of got it. And now it seemed like they don't like Caden. That's kind of what it's given. So I felt like Coach Prime should never, ever give anybody the impression that he knew that Caden was going to be excluded from the game plan, because that could go really wrong. You see, these parents are not afraid to speak up. So let's see what happens now that JoJo mom is saying something, because it worked when and then Goldberg is getting the opportunity, and it worked when Draylon mom said something last year. She was right, though. She was right. So if they over there playing favorites, it's going to come back to bite them. It's funny as hell. They showed a sketch of the seating. Oh, the seating chart, and it's empty. They collapsed in real time. Good. Hopefully the tickets go down 2 cents and don't nobody want them. They need to do like they did the Bank of America Stadium. They left that stadium empty and the tickets was 45 cents. And they still didn't show up. I feel Shedeur calm and not bothered. No, he's not. He's not bothered. He's not. I said the team has to avoid Shedeur like the plague to avoid retaliation. It's sad. Yeah, that's sad. But he ain't worried about it. We will be watching Pat Schumer play calling this season. Oh, facts. I will be watching that Delaware game, and I'm looking to see. Matter of fact, what we're talking about tomorrow, I put a list of expectations for Colorado. So, like, my expectation today was Shedeur to be sitting down somewhere and let Dylan and Flacco carry the load so we could see this O-line in a pattern. And I really need more than one game, but I could watch the highlights and find out with the stats and see what happened. But I don't need Shedeur in this game, right? They didn't want to prepare him for it. They act like he wasn't good enough for it. He didn't get paid for it. So let them do it. And I don't think he have a problem with that either. That's my expectation. But tomorrow we're going to talk about the expectations for the Colorado game. And I have a list. I have a list. Shedeur is definitely in a hostile work environment. Facts. Definitely agree with you on that one. It said Luke Floria got an injury settlement, and he is free to sign with another team with no settlement. He would have been added to Cleveland's Injury reserve for the whole 25 season. Okay. Well, one thing about him going to a new team, he gets a better contract. That's why they don't want to let Shedeur go and put him on waivers, because if he sit there, he going to get a new contract. Jones got Irvin out of a bind. That's why he's so close to Jones. Oh, okay. And Sanders was never a troublemaker. Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't know what happened with so that's why they closed, because Michael Irvin did get himself in a lot of trouble. It said Prime never used it. No, yeah, he said he didn't. It said no cult member, but support Shedeur Sanders. Right. Yeah, they know we're not a cult, but then they want us to come to the games. Ticket sales. It says Shedeur is going through the equivalent of what happens in corporate America. Facts. Except for by now he would have been fired. See, in corporate America, when they treat you like that, and everybody picks up on it, they got to move you on. They got to move you out because you become a liability. That's how you know they can't move Shedeur, because they're being exposed. They're only going to move him when they can't take the heat. Hansler gonna pick up the phone and would talk to his little other friends that are owners. Look, I'm not selling no tickets, so we're gonna have to put him somewhere else. Maybe that's why you see all these 2% battery lifers coming back and blocking spots. So Shedeur will have to go to the back. And you don't see see or neither hear from Roger Goodell. Nowhere he is horrible commissioner. He is horrible. As long as Vegas is involved in sports, that means the mob and cartel still run sports, because that's who ran that betting scandal at Arizona State. If y'all don't know about that, there was a basketball betting scandal where the mob got involved. It started out with referees. It's good. Y'all got to go watch it. It's on YouTube. It started out with referees asking some black players who came from impoverished conditions, who at the time didn't have NIL. I don't even know if ramen noodles existed, to shave points for money. And they did. And two things happened. They did it more than once, so they start making good money, but then they start buying jewelry and clothes and this, that, and the other, and people started getting suspicious. Same thing happened to the referee. He already made $300,000 to $400,000 a year as a ref in college basketball, I think. He had a good salary, whatever it was a good salary. And the mob, he wanted to stop. And the mob came along and found out about it, because when you bet a certain way, I guess they have ways of telling if the bet is fraud based on what's happening in the game. So instead of the mob going to the police, they came to the ref, to his house, and they told him, you gonna keep doing this for us. And they took a cut of the money. It got crazy. And they threatened his family. And he thought he was just out here on his own till the mob got involved, and he couldn't quit. And the players couldn't quit. The next thing you know, the players and the refs working for the mob. And that's when it gets ugly. So when they catch you doing something illegal, they don't go to the police. They won't in, and then you work for them and they take over. So it's Arizona State basketball scandal. If you Google it or if you look it up on YouTube, it's good. You should watch it. It shows you how people do something once and think that that's going to be it. Then they keep on, and then they don't realize the unexpected is what gets them caught. The unexpected was the mob showing up and forcing them to keep it going and taking the money. What you going to do? Go to the police and say the mob is forcing me to bet illegally? No. That's why they can get away with it. It was crazy. It was good, though. It's good. I like those kind of stories, because it's just crazy how something like starts out little and it just snowballs, and the unexpected. That's what's going to happen to Cleveland, the unexpected, not the mob. But I mean, it could be. But the unexpected is what's going to happen in Cleveland. Hit the like button. The contents are too good. This is truth. Yes, it is. Thank you. It's that Goodell is trying to distance himself. I don't know why. He ain't going nowhere. He sit at the top of the ladder. Goodell is the shield to catch the heat before the owners catch it. That's their additional insulation, in addition to their committee or whatever they got, the management council, the players association, and Goodell. They insulated. But see, they took him off the board. See, I think they want him to quit. Because think about what happens if Shedeur quit. If Shedeur quit, they assume that this goes away. Because if you know anything about corporate America, they kind of want you to quit too. And I think they want him to quit. But see, they don't know. That's where they're going to get bit. Because if he quit, there are people that are waiting to see what happens with Shedeur in Cleveland before they move forward with certain things. They think that's the answer. Now, that means people are free. Because, see, a lot of people don't want to mess up what he have going on. There are people who don't want to sue because they don't want to be like, oh, they're going to get mad at Shedeur. That kind of thing, right? Which is why some people think Schumer still work there at CU, because they think if Coach Prime fired Pat Schumer going to make it harder for Shedeur. And that could be the truth. It could be the truth. But there are a lot of people who sitting on go if they fire him and he don't get back in the league. Notice, they could have released him and Shiloh at the same time or a week apart. They still hadn't let him go yet. It's not as easy as they thought it was going to be. Just like the whole Arizona State thing in the referee. They the referee. In that scenario. It said Goodell is trying to distance himself. I don't know why, because he ain't going nowhere. He sit at the top. I'm a players fan, not a team fan. That me too. I'm the same way. Same way, Priscilla. A baby AI's 40-second call Shedeur Sanders deserve better. Baby exposes Browns QB battle. The channel is Marshall Droff. Okay, I'm going to put a star by this. Okay, I'm going to share it on the screen so y'all can see it. I didn't know. Baby AI. I've seen baby AIs, but I didn't know they had one for Shedeur. I should have known. Justin Fields. What about Justin Fields? Let me know, Priscilla. Arch Manning went to a private school. His film looked like he's playing sandlot football. His name can't give him skills. Right. I'm a lifelong Lions fan who doesn't like anything from Ohio. Only watching Cleveland from Shedeur. That's so funny. Jerry Jones is the power behind the NFL. Right. Which, again, now that I see he and Michael Irvin are still cool. And it don't seem. Now, think about it. When the contract negotiation was happening, what was that? Was that in the spring? That was before. That was after December, but before April. So somewhere between December and April, Jerry Jones was covering, pretending like Coach Prime was gonna get a job with him, right? He basically did a favor for him. That was somewhere after December, after January, but before April. What the hell happened between January and April before the draft? March, the owners meeting. What happened between January, February, and March, other than the Super Bowl? And all I remember seeing on Well Off Media Video is Shedeur talking to Roger Goodell. And it lets you know the plan was already in place because Roger Goodell said, I'm worried about your pops. So that meant there was already a plan. And I felt like when Shedeur went to talk to Jerry Jones, I felt like for the first time, I felt like Jerry Jones kind of brushed Shedeur off. Like, yeah, we're going to have to do a lot of trading. And normally he not like that around him. He lights up like a Cheshire cat because he sees dollar signs. And the next thing you know, Jerry Jones turns to where Coach Prime was and starts saying, hey, Prime, that's mine. That was it. That's it. And then in February, on the 20th, so the Super Bowl was February 8th, February 9th. Shedeur Sanders on February 6th, February 7th was in the celebrity game. So they already had him as a celebrity. They had Coach Prime on the stage. So if they were included in these exclusive rooms, if they were the celebrities on the stage at the NFL Honors and Shedeur at the celebrity flag football game, and Roger Goodell says, I'm worried about your pops. That meant the plan was already in place, and they used those events to make them feel comfortable that they were around typical friends and family to lure them in. Because by February 20th, on or before, the NFL insider said the NFL don't want quarterbacks, plural, like Shedeur Sanders now. And I know that has everything to do with 17 to 32, which meant when Roger Goodell said, I'm worried about your pops, the plan for 17 to 32 was already in play. And they lured in Shedeur and Coach Prime to let them have a false sense of confidence with them, like family or friends, like they been, so they could come to Green Bay. This is about 17-32. And as you can see, Arch Manning right now could be number 13 on the draft board, and he gonna go first. They ignored talent. They made it seem like when Shedeur said what he said at the combine, it was the problem. No. Mel Kiper Jr. said an NFL insider told him before the combine the NFL didn't want quarterbacks like Shedeur. So that ties back into what Roger Goodell says. I'm worried about your pops, which meant this was already planned. And they rushed through at the Vegas Super Bowl a person we ain't seen since, Charles Woodson, which meant this goes all the way back, not to New Orleans, to the Vegas Super Bowl, because they knew 15 quarterbacks was going to start the season. Now it's 16. Let's see what they do to stop 17. So we're going to get ourselves out of here. This was excellent. I feel like our Coach Prime is in a pickle over there. The very people he brought in are being used against him. And again, it's somebody that's a shadowy figure that you can't see. All of these strings, and it goes all the way back to Sean Lewis. So we're gonna get ourselves out of here. Hey Freeman, how you doing? We get ready to conclude. I hate you didn't join us earlier. It was good. It said we got to see that video again, sis. Which one? Which one you talking about? Mac. So we'll be back tomorrow, guys. We're gonna talk about the expectations, what she said, sports expectations for Colorado Delaware game. I have a list. And if y'all see me anywhere other than here, send me the link to my email, what she said 404@gmail.com. It's in the bio if you don't know, or it's in the bio. Or just put it in the comments. It says, you heard Gruden wants to coach on the SEC. If they let him come back, that's going to be interesting. The when they visited Arthur in Dallas. That didn't come out right. What does that say, Mac? The when they visited, let me know. I don't know what this says. Yeah, I know what you meant, Miss Texas Cannon. I knew you meant Gruden wants to come back to the SEC. Yeah. Well, I knew he wanted to come back to the NFL. Maybe that's a no-go. Maybe that would be too obvious. So they're going to send him to the SEC first. It fits, right? They don't have any black coaches. That's why when they were talking about Coach Prime going there, I was like, no. It said the one they visited in Arthur and Dallas. I don't know what you're talking about, Mac, but if you want to let me know, I'm going to figure it out. Thank you so much, Elijah. Thank you. Because I don't know what you're talking about, Mac. I'm sorry. I apologize. You said the one where they visited Arthur in Dallas. What's Arthur? Good night. Watching from the bushes. Thank you so much. Listen, but could not chime in. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for joining us. Okay, thank you, Mac. Jay said the media and coaching staff are trying to break Shedeur's spirit, but his family calls him grown for a reason. Right. That's a moot point. When 2 million people buy your jerseys, can't nobody break you. Can't nobody make you feel that you're not of value when 2 million people spend $130 on average to get something with your name on it. So they wasting their time. What they want for Manning is what Shedeur already has. They just don't want it from Shedeur. So let them keep getting exposed. Because like I said, there are people just sitting on go. All right, y'all, we're going to get out of here. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. Thank you. Oh, Arthur Blank. Okay, I'll look for it.
Yeah, that's a good way to say that. See y'all later. That's a good one. That's a good one. Thank you, Blue Boo. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Be sure to join our daily live stream and listen up to What She Said Sports on the go on Spotify. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Stay for another video.